Hello there, and welcome. You found your way to the Sleepy Astronomer, a quiet corner of the universe where science drifts gently into dreams. Together we'll wander through cosmic mysteries not in haste, but in calm curiosity, letting wonder settle in like starlight before sleep. You lie back, the weight of your body sinking gently into the surface beneath you. Above, the night opens like a vast black canvas, scattered with points of silver light. The stars do not flicker here. They glow with a steady calmness, like lanterns placed far across a dark sea. You feel the silence of the sky resting on your shoulders, and in that silence you sense a whisper, almost too soft to hear, a suggestion that the universe may be hiding secrets just beyond the reach of your gaze. Each star seems less like a destination and more like a doorway. You imagine them not as distant suns but as quiet openings, portals into spaces you have not yet known. Your breathing slows as you take in their arrangement. Patterns emerge, constellations weaving stories from long ago, shapes that guided travellers across oceans, symbols that once promised safe passage to those who dared to wander far from home. Tonight, those same stars guide you not across oceans but into thought, into the soft, meditative current of curiosity. You begin to wonder about distance. The nearest star beyond your sun is more than 4 light years away. That means light itself, the fastest traveller you know, spends over 4 years just across that gulf. And yet the star shines to you now, its light arriving at this moment, as though time folded itself into a gift. You think of this and feel both small and vast at once, small in your place upon this earth, and vast in your ability to reach across unimaginable distances with the simple act of imagination. The universe stretches outward in all directions. Galaxies cluster into threads, filaments weaving a cosmic web larger than any human journey can contain. And still you lie here, on this quiet patch of ground, listening with your eyes. The silence of the stars feels like a conversation without words. Somewhere deep within you, the thought arises. What if these distances are not as permanent as they seem? What if the universe, in its vastness, hides a way of folding in upon itself? You picture a sheet of fabric stretched wide, smooth and flat. A small marble rests upon it, and the cloth curves gently under its weight. This is the way of gravity, the way matter tells space how to bend. You imagine another marble, far across the sheet, and then, with a child's simplicity, you fold the fabric so the 2 marbles touch. The distance vanishes. The journey no longer requires time, only the folding of the cloth. You smile at the image because it feels so simple, so obvious. And yet it suggests something impossible, something that could change how you understand the sky above you. Wormholes. The word drifts into your mind like a seed carried on wind. The term itself is playful, almost humble, yet what it represents is anything but ordinary. A wormhole is the idea that space, this vast, untouchable expanse, might be capable of bending in such a way that distant regions connect directly, like secret tunnels hidden beneath the fabric of the cosmos. You let the thought linger. Could such tunnels truly exist? As you rest beneath the stars, you allow yourself to imagine stepping through one. A tunnel of space-time opening smooth and dark, not frightening but gentle like a corridor carved by nature itself. On one side, the familiar constellations, the glowing curve of Earth. On the other, perhaps a distant galaxy, its spiral arms stretching outward in quiet majesty. The journey would not take millennia but moments. The stars, once impossibly far, would suddenly be within reach. You breathe slowly, letting the idea unfold. The thought of wormholes is not new. Scientists have wondered about them since the early days of Einstein's equations. Those equations, silent and elegant, suggest that space-time can curve, and in that curvature, hidden solutions may arise. But tonight, you do not chase equations. You drift instead through feelings, the awe of standing at the threshold of a possibility, the peace of knowing that the universe might be more connected than it appears. The night air is cool. You feel it against your skin as you look up again. The stars glow as they always have, but now each point carries new meaning. They no longer seem scattered randomly. They seem like beacons placed along unseen pathways, each one a marker of possibility. You wonder if somewhere, perhaps hidden in the dark between those stars, a wormhole waits quietly, invisible to your eyes yet woven into the same fabric that holds your body to the earth. The question comforts you. It does not matter whether the answer is yes or no. What matters is the wondering, the gentle space that opens in your mind as you drift between certainty and imagination. Science, after all, is not only about answers, it is about resting in the presence of questions, feeling their weight and their grace. You close your eyes for a moment. Behind your eyelids the night remains. You can still sense the stars, the endless dark, the hum of silence stretching outward. You imagine floating among those stars, not rushing, not searching, simply drifting, carried on a current of thought. Somewhere just ahead, a path unknown begins to whisper. The whisper asks not for urgency, but for attention. Could there be more to space than distance? Could there be ways the universe folds, bends, and connects itself in manners unseen? You feel the edges of those questions brushing gently against your mind, like the soft ripple of water around your hand. The night sky holds steady, calm and eternal. Its silence reassures you. And yet in that silence you sense the beginnings of a journey, one that will not move with speed but with stillness, one that invites you deeper into the fabric of what is. And as you breathe in, slowly, you prepare yourself to listen more closely to that fabric, to feel how it bends, how it curves, how it might one day open into a doorway. The stars whisper still, their glow pressing softly against the dark, and you wonder if the fabric beneath them might carry you somewhere closer than distance would allow. Last lines, and a transition into chapter 2. You rest in that thought, imagining the universe as cloth, soft and vast beneath your touch, and soon you will begin to feel how this fabric stretches and bends, guiding you into the gentle mystery of space itself. You open your eyes again, and the night sky feels closer than before, as though it leans gently toward you. The stars no longer seem like distant specks scattered randomly across darkness. Instead, they feel as if they rest on something, as though there is a great fabric stretched beneath them, holding each one in place. The thought begins quietly, yet it grows stronger the longer you linger beneath the quiet sky. Imagine reaching your hand upward. Imagine your fingertips brushing against an invisible surface, smooth like silk, soft like the air between breaths. This surface is space itself, not empty, not hollow, but present. A medium too fine for your senses to touch directly, yet always there, wrapping around you, holding every planet and star in its embrace. You recall how sailors once trusted the sea beneath their ships. They could not see the currents or the tides, but they trusted the water to carry them, to lift their vessels across great distances. In the same way, the universe carries you. The earth floats not in nothingness, but in a sea of space-time guided by the currents of a fabric you cannot see. Now picture that fabric stretched tight like a vast sheet. Place a stone upon it. The sheet curves, bending inward, making a shallow valley around the weight. This is how gravity works. Planets and stars, by their presence, press into the fabric of space. The bending they create is what pulls moons into orbits, what binds Earth to the sun, what guides galaxies in their great dances across the cosmos. Gravity is not a chain. It is not a force tugging at you from a distance. It is simply the slope of the fabric beneath you. You walk across Earth, and gravity feels like a constant pull, but really it is the fabric curving, guiding your steps back to the planet's heart. The sun bends space around it, and Earth follows that curve like a marble rolling around the edge of a bowl, slowly, endlessly, faithfully. As you breathe deeply, this image grows more vivid. You imagine the stars above, each one pressing into the fabric, each one creating valleys invisible yet undeniable. The universe is not rigid but pliable, able to bend, able to ripple, able to shape itself around the matter it holds. And with every curve, a story of motion is written. The moon circles the earth because the earth makes a hollow in the fabric. The earth circles the sun because the sun makes a deeper one. Even you lying still press into that fabric, creating a valley so faint it may never be noticed. Yet it is there. Everything rests upon the same surface, connected not by strings or chains, but by the invisible texture of space itself. You close your eyes again and picture yourself standing on that fabric. You see galaxies scattered across it like jewels sewn into cloth. Each galaxy presses downward, bending the sheet, curving the regions around it. Where galaxies cluster together, the fabric stretches more deeply, like a heavy quilt weighed down by many stones. Where the cloth is emptier, It rises smoothly, calm and almost flat. You sense a living geometry beneath the stars, a pattern that holds the universe together. And then you wonder, what happens if the cloth folds? What happens if the smooth sheet creases, bending so sharply that two faraway points touch? This is no longer just gravity's gentle curve. This is something more, the possibility of a bridge, a shortcut, a hidden passage woven into the very texture of reality. For now, though, you rest with the simple thought, space is not empty. It is a fabric. It bends. It stretches. It holds you. You're always resting upon it, always carried by it, whether you are aware of it or not. Think of the times you have floated in water. Your body drifts, weightless, yet still supported. You cannot fall through the ocean. It carries you, even when you surrender control, and space does the same, though in silence, though invisibly. Every step, every breath, every orbit of the Earth is guided by its unseen touch. You take comfort in this. The universe is not a void but a cradle, not an absence but a presence. And as you picture the fabric under your hand, you feel less alone. You feel held. You imagine tracing your fingers along its surface, following the curve of Earth's valley outward, drifting into the sun's hollow, then outward still, past the ridges carved by Jupiter and Saturn, past the ripples left by comets, until the curves blur into the smoothness of interstellar space. The fabric seems endless. Yet like any cloth it could fold. Like any surface it could ripple. And in that thought your mind lingers. Ripples in space-time are real. We call them gravitational waves, gentle shivers that move outward when great masses collide. Two black holes spiraling together send vibrations across the universe, tiny tremors in the very sheet of space. By the time they reach Earth, they're almost too faint to measure, but they are there. Proof that the fabric can move, that it is not still, but alive. You think of a pond touched by a falling leaf. The ripples spread outward, delicate yet unstoppable. Space behaves the same. And if ripples are possible, perhaps folds are too. The thought lingers like a soft melody in your mind. You open your eyes once more to the stars. They seem unchanged, patient, eternal. But now you know, beneath them lies a fabric, bending, rippling, stretching. It is this hidden texture that allows motion, that explains the dance of the heavens. It is this same fabric that might, under the right conditions, fold upon itself. And somewhere in that possibility lies the whisper of a wormhole, a tunnel through the cloth. Not yet, not here, not now, but the thought rests gently in your awareness, preparing you for the next step of your journey. The stars glow steady, and you breathe in their silence. The universe feels less distant, more like something you can touch. You rest your hand upon your chest, feeling the rise and fall of breath, and you imagine that same rhythm written into the fabric of space, a slow, gentle tide connecting you to everything around you. Last lines, transition to chapter 3. And as you drift deeper into this thought, you feel the need to listen more closely to the equations that first revealed this fabric, the quiet language of Einstein, waiting to guide you further into the mystery. You let your breath settle, and with it, your mind drifts toward a figure whose quiet reflections reshaped the way we understand the universe. Albert Einstein, not a distant genius in a cold laboratory, but a man sitting in silence, eyes closed, following thought wherever it wished to wander. His discoveries did not arrive with noise or speed. They arrived like whispers, gentle, persistent, and steady. He once imagined himself riding a beam of light, carried across the sky at impossible speed. What would the world look like if you travelled alongside light itself? Would clocks still tick? Would the landscape remain familiar? Out of this childlike curiosity grew ideas that would bend the very structure of science. Einstein showed that space and time are not separate. They are threads woven together into one fabric, space-time. Every second that passes for you is stitched into the same cloth as every step you take. Time and distance, once thought to be different in nature, revealed themselves as partners, inseparable and inseparably curved. You imagine the fabric again, but now it is richer. Not only does it hold places, it holds moments. Every heartbeat, every blink of your eyes, every rising of the sun is recorded in its folds. Space-time is not an empty stage upon which the universe performs. It is both the stage and the performance, carrying every motion and every rhythm within itself. Einstein's equations are not loud proclamations, they are quiet notes, humming beneath reality. They say, where matter rests, space-time bends, and where space-time bends, matter moves. It is a relationship as intimate as tide and moon, as natural as breath and body. Neither can exist without the other, and together they choreograph the dance of the cosmos. You lie still, but you are part of that dance. The Earth presses into space-time, curving it. The curve carries you in orbit around the Sun. The Sun itself rests in a deeper valley, guiding the Earth and planets as if they were beads rolling around its gentle hollow. No invisible force pulls you. You are simply moving through a curve already written into the fabric. The elegance of this truth is soothing. There is no chaos, only shape. There is no invisible chain, only curves guiding motion. The stars you see above you are each pressing into the same fabric, and each motion you witness is nothing more than their response to its gentle bending. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine space-time as a great quilt spread beneath the universe. Upon it rest planets, stars, galaxies, everyone leaving a dimple, a valley, a curve. When you move through life, you do so along these valleys, not dragged unwillingly, but carried as naturally as water down a slope. This is gravity as Einstein revealed it, the poetry of curves. And yet, the equations whisper of more. They allow for strange shapes within the fabric, shapes not yet seen but possible. Among them is the idea that space-time might fold so that distant points touch. The mathematics do not forbid it. In fact, they invite the thought, like an unopened letter placed before you. Einstein himself never pursued wormholes as destinations for travellers. To him they were curiosities, mathematical quirks hidden within the language of relativity. But even a curiosity can grow into wonder. Later thinkers took those same equations and asked, what if these folds are real? What if the universe truly allows hidden bridges? You find comfort in knowing that such vast ideas can grow from simple beginnings. Einstein's insights did not arise from elaborate machines or expensive experiments. They grew from imagination, from wondering, from sitting quietly with thought. Just as you lie here beneath the stars, letting your mind drift, so too did he allow his mind to drift across the boundaries of the known. His equations are not something to fear. They are a lullaby written in symbols, a rhythm of balance. Energy and mass, space and time, curves and motion, each finds its place within the harmony. You may never write them down, but you can feel their presence in the sway of tides, in the orbit of the moon, in the way your feet are always drawn gently back to the earth. You imagine yourself floating through space-time, not as a solid traveller, but as a ripple. With every breath you leave a trace on the fabric, so small it vanishes quickly, yet real. Everything you are becomes part of this greater cloth. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are woven into it. The thought slows you further, like a cradle rocking gently. If space-time can bend, if it can ripple, then perhaps it can fold. Perhaps those quiet equations, written more than a century ago, contain the seeds of the shortcuts you now seek. You feel as though the night itself leans closer, waiting with you for what might come next. The stars remain steady. Their light has travelled for thousands, even millions of years to reach you. And yet, in this moment, you are linked to them by the same fabric, the same curves that hold everything together. Einstein's vision has made the universe feel less like a collection of separate objects and more like one vast connected whole. As you breathe in, you sense that connection. The air in your lungs, the ground beneath you, the stars above, all a part of one woven tapestry, bent and curved yet whole. The equations describe it with precision, but you do not need precision tonight. You need only the gentle knowledge that you belong to this fabric, that you are carried by its curves. And somewhere in the mathematics lies the possibility of paths untravelled. Wormholes, not proven, not yet found, but whispered by the same equations that explain why the moon circles the Earth, why the Earth circles the Sun, why galaxies drift in their spirals. The possibility rests quietly, like a doorway still closed, but waiting. You let the thought rest with you. Not urgent, not demanding, just present. Einstein's gift was not only a new understanding of gravity. His gift was the reminder that imagination, guided gently, can reshape how we see everything. The night hums with stillness. You feel both soothed and stirred. Somewhere between the equations and the stars, a question forms, patient and unhurried. Last lines transition to chapter 4. If gravity is truly the bending of space-time, then perhaps it is not a chain at all, but a melody. And soon you will hear how this music carries the universe in its endless, gentle rhythm. You rest quietly, aware of the soft weight that keeps you pressed against the earth. It is not harsh, not aggressive, but steady and patient, a presence that has been with you since the day you were born. This pull is gravity, though the word itself feels too small for something so vast. Tonight, you begin to feel it less as a force and more as a rhythm, a music written into the fabric of existence. Think of the way your chest rises and falls with each breath. The rhythm is calm, steady, and unbroken. Gravity carries its own rhythm, holding oceans to their shores, guiding the moon in its silent orbit, drawing Earth around the sun in a graceful circle. Every movement in the heavens follows this same music, a melody you cannot hear with your ears, but one you feel with your whole being. You imagine gravity not as chains dragging bodies together, but as a song flowing through the universe. Each star sings its note, each planet hums its tone, and together they create a cosmic harmony. When the moon lifts the tides, it is not violence, but music. When the earth circles the sun, it is not struggle, but dance. The universe moves not by force, but by rhythm. Einstein revealed that gravity is the bending of space-time, yet when you think of it tonight, you sense something even gentler. The curves of space-time are like the curves of a violin string. Pluck it with the presence of matter, and it vibrates, carrying motion outward. A galaxy turns slowly, and the whole cosmic fabric resonates. The song is too low for your ears, too wide for your instruments, but it surrounds you just the same. Close your eyes. Listen, not with sound, but with imagination. You feel the earth beneath you steady and firm, yet you know it is in constant motion. It spins, it circles, it drifts, all in quiet obedience to the song of gravity. Your own body is part of this orchestra, pressing gently into Earth's surface, carried in its journey around the sun, guided in the larger sweep of the galaxy's spiral. You're not outside the music, you're inside it, a note in its melody. The thought calms you. To be part of a song means you are never alone. Even in silence, the rhythm continues. Oceans swell, stars burn, galaxies drift, all in the same choreography. You're not separate from the dance, you are moving with it, whether or not you notice. Imagine again the sheet of fabric from the night before. Place a marble upon it, and the fabric curves, inviting another marble to roll closer. But tonight, instead of a sheet, think of it as a drum. Every marble pressed upon it is not just weight but sound, each curve a tone resonating outward. The universe is not silent. It is alive with the vibrations of gravity. When two black holes collide, they send ripples across space-time, gravitational waves, like the strike of a drum heard across unimaginable distances. These waves are faint by the time they reach Earth, smaller than the width of an atom, but still they arrive, proof that the music is real. In 2015, scientists first detected them, the faint murmur of colliding giants. It was as though humanity for the first time had heard the universe sing. You imagine those waves now, rippling through the fabric of the cosmos, carrying with them stories of distant events. Each ripple is an echo of motion, a soft reminder that even the farthest reaches of space are connected to you by the same song. The music of gravity does not end where your eyes stop seeing. It travels always across forever. Gravity is patient. It does not demand. It does not hurry. The moon will not fall from its path tomorrow. The earth will not fly away from the sun. Each orbit is a promise kept, an agreement written not in words but in curves. This patience is part of the music, the steady beat that has carried galaxies for billions of years. As you breathe, you find yourself swaying inwardly to that rhythm. You picture the planets like dancers circling a fire, each step guided by the unseen melody. You picture stars bound together in galaxies, their spirals like great waltzes spread across the dark. Even galaxies themselves, drawn toward clusters, swirl in larger dances. Everywhere you look, the music plays. And then a question arises. If gravity is music, could it be tuned differently? Could there be notes not yet heard, harmonies not yet discovered? Perhaps the fabric of space-time can be played in ways that reveal hidden bridges, wormholes waiting like quiet verses in the song. The thought lingers, not as an answer, but as an invitation. You do not need to solve it tonight. It is enough to rest in the knowing that you are part of a greater harmony. The weight you feel, the orbit you travel, the tides you witness, all of them are music. Even silence is not empty. It is filled with the hum of space-time curves, the song of motion written into everything. The night sky above you glows faintly, stars shimmering, as if to remind you of their part in the choir. The Milky Way stretches like a river of notes across darkness. You imagine it not just as light, but as music, every star a tone contributing to a cosmic hymn. The longer you lie here, the more you can almost hear it, not with your ears, but with something deeper, something quieter within. Gravity is the music of belonging. It is the assurance that nothing drifts alone. Every atom, every planet, every galaxy is tied into the same composition. You're held by it, carried by it, sung into being by it. And as you surrender to that thought, you feel a calm curiosity blooming. If gravity is the melody, then perhaps wormholes are the hidden verses, the passages where the song folds back on itself, creating shortcuts through eternity. Last lines, transition to chapter 5. The music continues, steady and patient, and you are left wondering if within its rhythm lies the first whisper of a shortcut, waiting to be discovered. The music of gravity fades into a softer silence, yet the rhythm still hums beneath your body. You rest with it, comforted by the thought that every star and every planet is part of the same slow song. But as you listen more deeply, another thought begins to form, delicate and uncertain. It is like hearing a faint melody hidden beneath the main tune, a quiet verse not yet fully understood. This whisper is the idea of shortcuts, paths through the fabric of space-time that might join places impossibly far apart. The first whispers of such shortcuts arose not from dreams of explorers, but from the calm lines of mathematics. Equations, when followed carefully, reveal possibilities the eye cannot see. Einstein's field equations of general relativity, so graceful and quiet, held within them hints of strange tunnels. These tunnels were not roads in the sense you know, they were folds, curvatures of space-time itself, drawn together in ways that could connect distant points. You imagine folding a sheet of paper, pressing one corner to another, and piercing a hole through the fold. Suddenly 2 faraway places are joined. The path no longer stretches endlessly across the sheet. Instead, it passes through the fold in an instant. This is the essence of a wormhole. Not a destruction of distance, but a reimagining of it. The name wormhole came later, chosen for its simplicity. Just as a worm tunnels through an apple, joining 2 spots that would otherwise remain far apart across the surface, so too might space tunnel through itself. The word is almost playful, but the idea is anything but small. To imagine the universe not as a rigid stage, but as fabric capable of folding and connecting changes the way you see everything. You lie beneath the night sky and wonder, what if one of those shortcuts were hidden among the stars you see? What if between 2 points of light, separated by millions of light years, there was a tunnel invisible to your eyes, a bridge that could make the distance suddenly near? The whisper grows more insistent. Scientists call these passages Einstein-Rosen bridges after the 2 men who first wrote of them. In 1935, Einstein and his colleague Nathan Rosen explored a solution to the equations of relativity that seemed to describe a throat connecting 2 regions of space. It was fragile, theoretical, and likely unstable, but it was there. The mathematics allowed it. You imagine Einstein himself pausing at the chalkboard, his chalk tracing curves and symbols, then stopping as he noticed what they implied. Did he feel wonder? Did he feel the same quiet thrill you feel now beneath the stars? The thought comforts you. Even the greatest minds began with curiosity, with a question whispered by the universe itself. As you rest, the image of a wormhole sharpens. You picture it as a tunnel of darkness, not frightening, but soft. The walls are not walls at all, but space-time itself, bending inward, curving into a passage that stretches between 2 places. Step into one side and you emerge from the other, The distances of galaxies, the endless gulf of space, all vanish in the presence of this hidden corridor. The possibility feels almost too bold, yet you remember, it is not fantasy. It is permitted, at least in theory, by the very laws of the cosmos. General relativity, the same framework that explains the orbit of planets and the bending of light, also whispers of these shortcuts. The universe may be larger, stranger, and more interconnected than your senses alone can reveal. And yet, the whisper carries a note of fragility. These tunnels, if they exist, may be fleeting, collapsing before anything could pass through. Like bubbles rising on water, they may shimmer for a moment, only to burst back into the deep. Their instability does not erase their beauty, but it reminds you that not every door is meant to be opened. Some may exist only as possibilities, glimpsed in the quiet music of equations. Still the thought lingers, the stars above you do not move, yet you feel as though they lean closer, as though they wait to be touched. You wonder, if wormholes are real, how many might thread through the universe? Could galaxies be stitched together by these hidden corridors? Could space itself be less of vast emptiness and more a web of invisible tunnels? The whisper invites you to imagine. You see travellers not crossing the endless void in centuries of flight, but drifting gently through a tunnel, emerging light years away as easily as stepping through a doorway. The universe, once too vast to comprehend, suddenly feels smaller, more intimate, as though its farthest reaches could be reached in a single breath. You take comfort in knowing that even if these passages are beyond your reach, the very act of wondering about them draws you closer to the cosmos. To think of wormholes is to acknowledge that space is not fixed. It is alive, flexible, capable of surprises. It may hide corridors you cannot see, yet which shape your imagination and your dreams. The night grows deeper. The stars glow steady, each one a point of quiet light against the dark, and you remain beneath them, listening not only to their silence, but to the possibility that silence hides unseen connections. Wormholes may never be touched, but their whisper changes how you feel the universe, less rigid, more playful, more open to mystery. You breathe slowly, and in your breathing, you sense the fabric again. The same curves that guide planets and stars might also bend into bridges. The thought comforts you, like a lullaby, sung softly by the cosmos. The whisper does not fade. It continues, gentle and persistent. Perhaps these shortcuts are impossible. Perhaps they are real. Either way, they invite you to wonder, and in wondering you find rest. Last lines. Transition to Chapter 6. And as the whisper of shortcuts lingers, you begin to picture what such a tunnel would feel like. A folded cloth, pressed gently together, opening into a passage where distance disappears. You rest quietly with the thought of wormholes, their whisper still circling through your mind like a soft echo. The night sky above is steady, patient, but inside you imagination moves slowly forward. You recall the folded sheet of paper, two corners far apart suddenly pressed close. The distance vanishes, not because it no longer exists, but because the surface has changed shape. Now picture that fold more vividly. Imagine you hold the sheet in your hands, smooth and wide, stretching endlessly. This is space, quiet and immense. You take one edge and gently bend it, folding until two distant points touch. With a single crease, the impossible becomes possible. A path that once required years of travel is now only a step away. The shortcut is not magic. It is geometry. It is the fabric itself offering a new way through. The tunnel that forms between those points is the wormhole, a bridge carved not across the surface, but through it. You can imagine peering into the throat of such a tunnel, dark, smooth, curving away into a distance hidden from view. On the other side, perhaps a faraway star, perhaps another galaxy, perhaps even another time. The thought is quiet but profound. In mathematics, this tunnel is often called the Einstein-Rosen bridge. It is a structure predicted by the same equations that describe gravity, orbit, and light. For Einstein and Rosen, the bridge was not a highway for travellers, but a curiosity within the numbers, a reminder that space-time is capable of more than the human mind might first believe. You linger on the image of the fold, and your body relaxes as you let the metaphor deepen. Life itself often feels like distance, long roads to walk, long years to cross, but sometimes, like space, it folds. A memory touches the present, and suddenly time collapses. Two moments once far apart rest side by side. Wormholes are the universe's version of this gentle folding, a reminder that distance may not always be as fixed as it seems. Close your eyes and picture stepping closer to the mouth of a wormhole. The edges are not walls, not stone or metal, but space-time curving inward. It is silent, without texture, yet you sense a flow, as though the tunnel itself carries you forward. The air is still, but your mind drifts along the curve, pulled gently toward an unseen exit. The beauty of the idea lies in its simplicity. A folded cloth, a crease, a tunnel, nothing more, nothing less. And yet that simplicity hides extraordinary complexity. To exist, a wormhole would need to resist collapse, to stay open long enough for light or matter to pass through. The physics of such stability remains uncertain, dependent on energies stranger than anything known. Still, the picture persists, stubborn and graceful, like a dream you cannot quite release. You imagine what it would feel like to cross. At first, a step into darkness, then a sensation of gliding without movement, as though you are being carried, not walking. The tunnel curves, smooth and infinite, yet your journey takes no time at all. One moment you are here, beneath the familiar stars, the next, you are elsewhere, perhaps beneath another sky entirely. The possibility is intoxicating, but tonight it soothes rather than excites. You do not rush through the tunnel. You drift, patient and unhurried, content to let the idea cradle you. In this state, the wormhole feels less like a doorway for escape and more like a lullaby, written into the fabric of existence, a reminder that the universe is capable of surprises. Think again of the paper, folded so easily. You realize that the act of folding changes nothing about the paper itself. The points were always there, always part of the same sheet. The fold only revealed their closeness. In the same way, perhaps wormholes are not additions to the universe but revelations, showing connections that were always present, simply unseen. The stars above you glow softly, scattered yet steady. You picture invisible folds hiding between them, corridors no telescope can yet reveal. If one were to open near Earth, how would you recognize it? Perhaps light bending strangely, perhaps gravity pulling in unusual ways, perhaps nothing at all until you stepped through and found yourself far, far away. The idea makes you smile. Even without proof, wormholes already change how you see the sky. No longer just points separated by endless gulfs, the stars now feel like neighbours, potentially linked by unseen corridors. The distance between them is real, but perhaps not final. You rest in this thought. The folded cloth hums quietly in your mind. You picture yourself smoothing it, folding it, opening tunnels like gentle creases. The image comforts you, reminding you that the universe is not rigid but pliable, capable of holding mysteries in its bends and folds. Some scientists dream of travelling through these tunnels. Others doubt they could exist at all. But tonight, certainty is not required. Tonight, it is enough to imagine the fold, to let it remind you that reality may be more connected than it appears. The night deepens and the stars remain, patient witnesses to your thoughts. The folded cloth stretches outward, unseen but felt, and within it, the possibility of tunnels continues to whisper, calm and persistent, like a river flowing just out of sight. Last lines. Transition to Chapter 7. And as you picture the fold more vividly, you cannot help but wonder if black holes, those dark, silent giants, might hold such tunnels within their depths, waiting quietly behind horizons of shadow. You lie still, the folded cloth of space-time vivid in your mind, its gentle creases holding whispers of hidden tunnels. But then your thoughts drift towards something darker, something heavier, the black holes scattered across the universe like silent anchors. They are the deepest valleys in the fabric of space, places where the curve is so steep that not even light can climb free. At first glance, they seem frightening, these silent shadows that swallow everything in their reach. Yet tonight, as you rest beneath the calm sky, you feel their presence differently. They are not monsters but mysteries, not chaos but clarity pushed to its extreme. A black hole is the purest expression of space-time bending, the deepest note in the song of gravity. Imagine standing at a safe distance from one. You would see light bend around it, stars distorted, as though reality itself were a lens. Closer still, The light would vanish into the horizon, an invisible boundary called the event horizon. Beyond it, no signal can return. Not because of violence, but because the slope of space-time tilts too far downward. Crossing it is like stepping over a waterfall. Once you pass, there is no climbing back. You breathe slowly, picturing the calm inevitability of it. Matter falls inward not in panic but in rhythm, spiraling gently into darkness. The black hole does not chase. It does not reach. It simply waits, its curve so deep that everything nearby cannot help but slide closer. It is the universe's reminder that gravity, when pushed far enough, becomes absolute. And yet, within this darkness, whispers of possibility linger. The same equations that describe wormholes also suggest that inside a black hole, space-time may continue, perhaps into another region, another universe, another corridor beyond sight. Could these shadows hide tunnels? Could the mouths of black holes be entrances to wormholes, disguised by horizons of silence? Some scientists have dreamed of it. They imagine falling into a black hole and not being destroyed but carried, swept through a throat of space-time into another place, perhaps a faraway galaxy, perhaps another cosmos entirely. The idea is bold but fragile. For most black holes, the truth seems harsher. The tidal forces near the center would stretch any traveler into threads torn by gravity's extremes. Still, the mathematics refuses to close the door completely. Certain solutions hint at the possibility of bridges. Rotating black holes, for instance, might hold hidden passages. The equations allow for them, even if reality may not. It is as though the cosmos places a riddle before you, written in symbols too subtle to solve. You let the thought rest gently in your mind. Black holes may be gateways, or they may be traps. They may lead somewhere new, or they may end all journeys. Their nature remains hidden, cloaked behind horizons no light can cross. And yet you cannot help but feel drawn to them, as if they are secrets waiting for a quieter time to be told. The night sky above you is dotted with their presence, though invisible to your eyes. Some lie at the hearts of galaxies, millions of times more massive than the sun. They anchor the spirals of stars, holding galaxies together with their immense gravity. Far smaller ones drift unseen, remnants of stars that collapsed long ago. You cannot see them, but you know they are there, silent companions in the cosmic dance. You imagine one now, far across the Milky Way. Around it, gas swirls heated to brilliance before vanishing inside. To a distant observer, the black hole is quiet, patient, inevitable. But you, lying here in thought, imagine standing at its edge, gazing into its horizon. The stars behind you stretch and bend, their light distorted. Ahead, only darkness, deep and complete. You lean forward, and for a moment, you wonder what lies beyond. The image does not frighten you. Instead, it soothes you. A black hole is not chaos, but certainty. It is the place where equations reach their deepest expression. Whether a trap or a gateway, it is honest. It reveals the extremes of what space-time can become. And so you wonder, if wormholes exist, perhaps they hide within these shadows, waiting for the right conditions, the right kind of energy to remain open. Perhaps black holes are more than endings. Perhaps they are doors, locked for now, but not forever. You breathe out slowly, letting the thought flow through you. The stars above continue their steady glow, indifferent to your wonder. Yet you feel closer to them, knowing that within their depths, within their collapses, the possibility of tunnels may rest. Black holes are both traps and temptations. They promise knowledge but deny access. They invite you closer but forbid return, and still, you cannot look away. The universe sings softly through them, a note so deep it trembles through the fabric of reality itself. You rest in that soundless note, imagining it vibrating across the cosmos. Each black hole is a pause in the music, a silence more profound than any sound. And within that silence, perhaps, a hidden verse, a wormhole waiting to open, a corridor yet unseen. Last lines. We'll transition to chapter 8. And as you drift with this thought, you begin to wonder not only about where a wormhole might lead, but how time itself would feel if you stepped inside its tunnel. You lie beneath the still night, and your thoughts drift deeper into the tunnel imagined in space-time. Until now, you have pictured it only as a bridge, a passageway from one place to another. But slowly a new question begins to rise, soft and patient. If space can be folded, what happens to time? Space and time are not separate. Einstein revealed long ago that they are threads woven into the same cloth. Where one bends, the other bends as well. If a wormhole is a fold in the fabric of space-time, then it does not only connect two locations, it also connects two moments. To walk through such a tunnel may mean not just stepping across distance, but slipping into another rhythm of time. Close your eyes and imagine stepping forward. The tunnel curves around you, silent and smooth. No walls, no sounds, only a corridor shaped by space-time itself. On one end is the present, the moment you left behind. On the other may not be the same moment at all. Perhaps you emerge in the future, a year ahead, a century ahead. Perhaps you emerge in the past, to a time before you were born. The tunnel does not ask permission. It simply follows the folds written into the cloth. This possibility feels strange, even unsettling, yet also beautiful. You've always felt time as a steady current, carrying you from one moment to the next. Days pass, years drift by, and you trust the flow. But inside a wormhole, the current may twist. Two ends of the tunnel may exist in different times. Enter here and exit there. And suddenly your journey has become not only through space, but through the river of time itself. You rest in this thought, allowing it to slow you rather than rush you. Imagine holding a book in your hands. Normally you read page by page, moving forward, but a wormhole is like folding the pages so that chapter 1 and chapter 20 touch. You slip across the crease and suddenly the story is no longer bound by order. The universe too might allow such shortcuts. Scientists have wondered about this possibility. There are equations suggesting that wormholes could act as time machines if their mouths are placed in different conditions. If one mouth moves quickly or rests near a strong gravitational field, time near it flows differently than time near the other. Step into one, and you could emerge where the clocks tell another story. The thought is dizzying, but tonight it soothes you. It reminds you that time is not rigid, not absolute. It is flexible, a companion to space, always willing to bend, always ready to surprise. Perhaps the tunnel does not simply carry you across stars, but allows you to pause, to slip, to wander through the river of moments themselves. You breathe slowly, imagining yourself drifting through such a tunnel. At first, the moments feel the same. Your heart beats, your breath flows, your body rests. But as you step closer to the exit, you sense a change. The stars outside are different. The sky holds constellations shifted by centuries. You have travelled not only through distance, but through ages. The thought fills you with calm wonder. How many moments are hidden within the universe, stacked like pages of an endless book? How many of them could be touched if only the folds of space-time allowed you through? The wormhole imagined softly tonight is not only a corridor but a key to time itself. And yet you remember the fragility. Such tunnels, if they exist, may be unstable. They may collapse before anyone can pass through. They may close before the story can be finished. But even so, the whisper remains. Time may not be as fixed as you once believed. The tunnel carries with it a promise that the universe still holds mysteries beyond measure. The night air cools your skin, grounding you in the present. You open your eyes and look upward, seeing only the stars. They shine as they did thousands of years ago, their light just now reaching you. In a way, you are already seeing the past. The starlight is a message delayed, a reminder that the flow of time is not the same everywhere. The wormhole only deepens this truth, folding moments together in ways you cannot yet touch. You allow yourself to smile. Even if you never step into such a tunnel, even if it remains only a thought written in equations, it changes how you feel about time. The hours that pass each day feel less rigid, less confining. Time is not a cage, it is a fabric. And like fabric, it may fold, it may stretch, it may carry you in ways unseen. The possibility rocks you gently like a tide. You picture yourself moving through ages with the ease of a breath, not rushing, not fearing, simply drifting. Time is no longer an arrow, it is a landscape, and wormholes are perhaps the paths that cut across it, weaving moments together into something larger than your single journey. The stars remain steady, but your thoughts move freely. You rest in the knowledge that the universe, through its equations and its whispers, offers more than distance. It offers new ways to feel time, to imagine it, to rest within its unfolding. Last Lines has transitioned to Chapter 9, and as you drift deeper into this thought, you begin to wonder what price such a passage might demand, what strange energy could hold the tunnel open long enough to let you through. The tunnel in your mind is clear now, a soft curve in the fabric of space-time, a corridor linking distant places. You've imagined stepping into it, drifting through, even feeling hand bend around you. But another question lingers, one that comes gently but firmly. What keeps such a tunnel open? The universe does not give away its secrets easily. A wormhole, if it forms, wants to close. Its throat collapses under the weight of its own curve, snapping shut before anything can pass through. To hold it open, something unusual is needed. Not ordinary light, not ordinary matter, but something stranger. Physicists call it exotic matter. The word exotic sounds playful, but its meaning is serious. It is matter unlike anything you have ever touched. Instead of pulling things inward like gravity normally does, it pushes outward. It resists collapse, as though it carries negative weight. Imagine trying to keep open the mouth of a cave that wants to seal itself. Ordinary rocks and timbers would crumble. You would need something beyond your experience, a scaffolding made not of wood or steel but of invisible pressure, holding space itself apart. This strange material has not yet been seen in the universe in large amounts, though hints of it exist in the mathematics of quantum fields. In theory, the Casimir effect, a force that arises when two plates are held very close together in a vacuum, produces a small push that resembles the effect of exotic matter. It is faint, fragile and fleeting, but it reminds scientists that the universe can produce negative pressures, if only for a moment. Close your eyes and imagine such energy as a glowing thread woven through the throat of a wormhole. It is not bright like fire. It does not burn or flicker. Instead, it hums quietly, invisible yet strong, a steady hand keeping the passage from collapsing. Without it, the tunnel pinches shut like a bubble bursting on water. With it, the tunnel holds, fragile but open, waiting for light or perhaps even a traveller to pass. The image soothes you. It reminds you that every doorway requires a key. Wormholes are no different. They demand a price, a balance to keep them steady. Exotic matter is that price, rare, perhaps impossible to gather, but essential in theory. The universe is generous with possibility, but it also asks for patience, for careful attention to its rules. You breathe slowly, letting the thoughts settle. Perhaps the wormhole is like a dream, beautiful, fleeting, shimmering for a moment before vanishing. Without exotic matter it cannot remain, but dreams too have power even if they fade. They change the way you feel. They leave behind questions that linger long after you wake. Wormholes may be the universe's dreams, appearing in equations, whispering of shortcuts, asking whether you will find the courage and the energy to keep them alive. You picture yourself standing at the mouth of a wormhole. It flickers, fragile, threatening to close. In your hand is the thread of exotic matter, unseen yet vital. You weave it into the tunnel, and the throat holds open, stable enough for light to slip through. A beam passes from one side to the other, reappearing in another sky. The path is open, but only so long as the energy continues to flow. The metaphor expands in your mind. Life, too, has tunnels that threaten to close. Opportunities appear like fragile passages, requiring energy to hold them open. Attention, care, and patience become your exotic matter, keeping the path alive long enough to step through. The cosmos reflects itself in your daily existence. To cross into the extraordinary, you must invest energy, even when the outcome remains uncertain. Scientists debate whether exotic matter can exist in the amounts needed. The known universe shows no easy source, no reservoir to draw from. Some propose that quantum fluctuations, the constant dance of particles in empty space, might provide hints of it. Others wonder if advanced civilizations, should they exist, could one day harness such energies. For now, it remains theoretical, like a secret ingredient listed but not yet found. Yet you find comfort in the thought. The fact that the equations allow it means the door is not closed completely. The universe does not forbid wormholes. It simply asks for a price that humans do not yet know how to pay. And so the tunnel remains a possibility, a maybe, a dream hovering just beyond reach. The night sky above you feels different now. Each star you see might be unimaginably far away, but you sense that the barrier between you and it is thinner than it once felt. A tunnel could, in theory, shorten the distance. Energy is the only thing missing, the exotic thread to keep the fold steady. You imagine weaving the night itself into such a thread. The darkness between stars becomes fabric, pliable under your touch. You press it into the tunnel's throat, holding it open, and for a moment you see across the gulf. Another star glows brighter, nearer, almost within reach. Then the vision fades, leaving only the quiet hum of possibility. You breathe out and feel a gentle peace. The price of passage may be high, but the idea itself changes you. You no longer see distance as final. You see it as a challenge, a fold waiting to be steadied, a tunnel waiting to be kept alive. The stars remain steady above, as they always have. But now you see them differently. Each one might be a destination not centuries away, but a step through a tunnel. If only the universe grants you the strange energy required. Last lines, transition to chapter 10, and as the thought lingers, you begin to wonder about the fragility of such dreams, whether these passages can ever truly remain open, or if they are destined to collapse like bubbles in the dark. You lie beneath the steady night, and the idea of exotic matter drifts away like mist. What lingers now is fragility. The wormhole you imagined is not sturdy like stone, not reliable like steel. It is delicate, ephemeral, fleeting, like a bubble rising from water, glistening for a moment before it bursts. The architecture of such a passage is fragile, and you feel that fragility deeply as you rest in the quiet. A wormhole, even in theory, trembles at the edge of collapse. Its throat wants to close, its folds want to flatten. The universe resists shortcuts, preferring the long, slow rhythm of stars and galaxies drifting through time. And so the tunnels exist only as whispers in mathematics, shimmering possibilities that may vanish as soon as they appear. You picture one now hovering in the darkness. It is beautiful, Aeschylus, a round mouth of curved space-time, edges glowing faintly with energy. You step closer, watching light bend around it, watching starlight stretch and distort as though reflected in rippling water. The tunnel seems alive, yet you know it may collapse in an instant, pinching shut, leaving nothing but silence. This fragility does not disappoint you. Instead, it comforts you. For it is the same fragility that defines so much of life, a dream, a memory, a chance that comes and goes. None are permanent, yet each has meaning while it lasts. A wormhole imagined tonight is the same. Even if it vanishes before you step inside, it has already changed you, teaching you to see space not as rigid but as pliable, alive with hidden possibilities. Scientists too recognize this fragility. Their equations confirm wormholes as solutions to relativity, but most collapse before anything can pass through. The throat pinches shut faster than light can cross. The passage becomes impassable, leaving only the idea behind. Some propose exotic matter could stabilize them. Others suggest quantum effects might hold them open, at least briefly. Yet the truth remains uncertain. The architecture is delicate, as though the universe permits the thought but hesitates to let it last. Close your eyes and imagine walking into such a tunnel. Each step feels uncertain, like walking across ice that may crack beneath you. You trust the path, but you also sense its fragility. The walls shimmer, as though woven from mist. You can feel them wanting to collapse, folding back into the smoothness of space-time. And then, with a deep breath, you step forward, and the tunnel is gone, replaced again by darkness and stars. The thought leaves you quiet, not discouraged but contemplative. Fragility has its own beauty. A flower blossoms only briefly, yet its presence transforms a meadow. A rainbow fades quickly, yet its memory lingers long after the rain. Wormholes may be the same. Fragile arcs across space-time, glimpsed for an instant, leaving behind wonder even if they vanish. You think of human dreams. How often they appear in the night, vivid and full, only to dissolve at dawn. They leave fragments, feelings, impressions that cannot be grasped. Wormholes are like these dreams, fragile architectures, real within their moment, fading before you can hold them. And yet, their impact remains, shaping how you see the world, how you imagine what is possible. You breathe deeply, letting this metaphor sink in. The universe is not careless with its fragility. It allows delicate things because they carry a different kind of strength. A dream does not need to last forever to change you. A flower does not need to bloom eternally to bring beauty. A wormhole, even if fleeting, proves that reality is more flexible, more surprising than it appears. The night sky above glows steady, but you know that within its depths fragility exists. Stars collapse, galaxies collide, black holes merge, all shaping space-time in ways that ripple outward. Wormholes, if they appear, may be brief, but they are part of this same fragile dance. They are the universe's reminder that even the grandest structures rest upon delicate balances. Imagine again the folded cloth. You crease it gently, but the fold resists, wanting to flatten. The tunnel opens for a breath, then closes. This is the fragility of wormholes, the universe's tendency to smooth itself, to return to balance. And yet even that momentary crease changes how you see the sheet. You know it can bend, you know it can fold. That knowledge alone is enough to alter your understanding forever. As you rest, you feel a calm acceptance. The wormhole may not last, but neither does a dream, a day, or a life. Fragility is not failure, it is part of the rhythm. The beauty of wormholes lies not only in their potential as cosmic highways, but also in their reminder that even in the largest scales, the universe is tender, delicate, and filled with fleeting wonders. You let the thought cradle you, your breath slow, your body heavy with rest. Fragile things ask for gentleness, not conquest. Wormholes ask the same. They may never be forced to stay open, but they can be honoured as possibilities, cherished for the wonder they bring. Above you, the stars shine, patient as ever. Perhaps some of them are linked by passages too fragile to last. Perhaps they open and close like bubbles in the dark, never long enough to be crossed, but always present in the equations, waiting quietly in the background and of reality. Last lines transition to chapter 11, and as you drift with this thought, you begin to wonder what might happen if even light itself were allowed to pass through one of these fragile corridors, carrying its glow into another sky. You lie beneath the calm of night, and your thoughts drift toward light, the gentlest traveller in the universe. It leaves the heart of a star and wanders endlessly, carrying warmth, carrying vision, carrying the story of where it was born. It touches your eyes now, each beam a messenger from far away. And so you wonder, if a wormhole exists, what would happen to light that dares to enter its throat? Imagine holding a lantern at the edge of a tunnel. You lift it slowly, steady in your hand, and the glow spills outward, brushing against the curved walls of space-time. At first, the light behaves as it always does, spreading in every direction, bouncing softly against the tunnel's edges. But then, the path bends, folding away from you, carrying the glow toward another exit. Where it will reappear you cannot know, perhaps beside a distant star, perhaps in another galaxy, perhaps in a time not yet reached. Light is honest. It always travels in the straightest path it can. Yet when space-time itself bends, straightness is not what you expect. A wormhole offers a new kind of straight line, not across the wide expanse of stars, but through the hidden fold of fabric. And so the lantern's beam, faithful as ever, follows the curve, slipping quietly through the passage. You picture yourself watching this. The light leaves your lantern, vanishes into the dark throat, and then nothing. Silence. You do not see where it goes. It is as if you dropped a pebble into deep water and waited for ripples that never return. The beam is gone, stolen by the fold, invisible to your eyes. But you know it continues, moving forward, carrying your small gesture of illumination into another realm. Perhaps, on the far side, another traveller sees a sudden glow. A faint shimmer appears against the stars, a lantern's beam arriving without warning. To them, it seems like a gift, a message written in brightness across the dark. They do not know it came from you, and yet the two of you are connected, bound by a hidden passage. This thought comforts you. Light is the universe's way of staying in touch with itself. It carries information across impossible distances, never pausing, never tiring. And if wormholes exist, light may be their first explorer, slipping silently through where nobody has yet dared. You imagine cosmic light making this journey, not your lantern, but the glow of a star. A beam leaves its surface, travels outward, and instead of continuing across millions of years, it falls into a wormhole. In an instant it reappears somewhere else, perhaps far across the universe. From one perspective, it is ordinary starlight. From another, it is a messenger that took a hidden road, revealing the possibility of shortcuts. Astronomers sometimes wonder if such things could be detected. If wormholes scatter or bend light unusually, the distortions might reveal their presence. A star might seem to shine twice, once from its true position and once from a wormhole's echo, or a sudden burst of light might appear where no star exists, as though a lantern had been lifted in the dark. For now, no clear evidence has been found, but the thought lingers, patient as starlight itself. You breathe deeply, allowing the image to settle. The lantern's glow is fragile yet persistent. Even if you cannot see its journey, you trust it continues. This is the nature of light. It never forgets to move forward. And so the wormhole becomes not just a corridor of distance, but a stage for light to perform its simplest act, to travel, to connect, to carry meaning. Think of the light already around you. The stars above are sending beams that left their surfaces long before your birth. Some are hundreds of years old, some thousands, some millions. Each one is proof that light persists, crossing vast gulfs to arrive in your eyes. Wormholes, if they exist, would only add new paths, new ways for those beams to find you. Perhaps one star you see tonight shines not directly but through a tunnel, its glow bent and carried by a hidden fold. The idea soothes you. It reminds you that the universe is not limited to what you see. Even ordinary starlight hides mysteries, stories of journeys longer than you can imagine. Wormholes simply extend that wonder, suggesting that light may find shortcuts as well as roads. You imagine yourself placing not a lantern, but a candle at the edge of the tunnel. Its flame flickers gently, golden and small, yet its light enters the corridor carried forward. Somewhere else, that small glow becomes a signal in the dark. It reminds you that even fragile things can travel far if only given a path. The tunnel remains delicate, perhaps unstable, but the image of light moving through it lingers. Wormholes may collapse before anything larger can cross, but light so slight, so incident, might slip through even in those brief moments. It is the perfect traveller, weightless, tireless, content to move forward without hesitation. You close your eyes and see the glow of your imagined lantern, still drifting, carried beyond reach. You do not need to follow it. You do not need to know where it goes. It is enough to know that its journey continues, hidden but real. This thought rocks you gently, reminding you that not all paths are meant to be traced. Some are meant to be trusted. The night sky glows steady, and you feel the presence of light everywhere. It touches you, warms you, surrounds you, even though its sources may be unimaginably far away. Wormholes, if they exist, are simply new stages for this ancient traveller. Light will always find its way, no matter how strange the road. Last lines, transition to chapter 12. And as you rest with this vision, you begin to wonder not just about light itself, but what it would feel like if you and body, mind and breath stepped inside the tunnel and became the traveller. You have watched light slip through the tunnel. You have imagined lanterns and starlight beams vanishing into curves and reappearing in hidden skies. But now the thought turns inward. What if it were not only light that travelled? What if you yourself stepped into the throat of a wormhole, your body and your breath carried by spacetime's fold? The idea arrives gently, not as an adventure but as a meditation. You're not rushing, not seeking conquest. You're resting, calm, as though the tunnel were an extension of the night itself. To walk inside is not to defy nature, but to flow with it, to trust the path written into the fabric of the universe. Close your eyes and picture the entrance. It is not a door of stone or metal, not a machine, not a vessel. It is a curve, soft and silent, opening like the mouth of a cave. The edges shimmer faintly, as though they are woven from starlight stretched thin. You step forward, and the world you know fades behind you. Inside there are no stars, no planets, no familiar constellations. The tunnel is smooth, quiet and vast. Its darkness is not threatening but gentle, like velvet spread across your skin. You feel no ground beneath your feet, no weight pressing down. Instead you glide as though the tunnel itself carries you. Your body relaxes, every muscle unwinding. The pull of Earth's gravity no longer tethers you. The tunnel holds you in suspension, a cradle carved from space-time. You are both still and moving, both present and drifting. The sensation is like floating in water, yet lighter, freer without the pressure of waves. You breathe slowly, and your breath seems to echo, though not as sound. It echoes as rhythm, as the pace of time itself. Each inhale feels longer, each exhale softer, as though the tunnel stretches the very flow of moments. You sense that time does not pass here in the way you have always known. Instead, it unfolds around you, flexible, fluid, unbound by the tick of clocks. The tunnel curves gently and you surrender to its shape. There is no need to choose direction, no need to walk or run. You are carried, drawn forwards by the very geometry of space-time. You realize that travel here is not effort, but trust. Trust that the path is already written, that your journey is part of a larger flow. Images rise in your mind. You picture galaxies connected by unseen corridors, a web of passages weaving the universe into one whole. You see yourself drifting from one tunnel to another, slipping across distances that once felt impossible. The tunnels do not rush you. They carry you as slowly or as quickly as they wish, their rhythm deeper than your own. For a moment, you feel weightless in thought. The boundaries of your body blur. You are no longer only yourself, but part of the tunnel, woven into its fabric. You are space-time, curved and connected, flowing gently between stars. The thought comforts you, reminding you that you are not separate from the universe, but one of its many folds. The tunnel grows quieter still, if such a thing is possible. Silence surrounds you, yet it does not feel empty. It feels full, as though every vibration, every possibility is hidden within it. You imagine the hum of equations echoing faintly in the background, their balance holding the corridor in place. You do not hear them with your ears, but with your mind, like the faint memory of a song. You drift onward, and the tunnel begins to glow faintly, not with colour, but with presence, a gentle radiance that feels like calm itself. You realize that this glow is not coming from walls or surfaces. It is coming from the journey itself, from the connection between two regions of space-time. The tunnel is not merely a passage, it is a relationship, a bridge that exists because two places are willing to meet. Your breath deepens as you surrender to this realization. To travel here is not to conquer distance, but to accept intimacy, the closeness of points once far apart. You are the traveller, but you are also the message carried by the tunnel. Every heartbeat becomes a signal, every thought a ripple moving forward. Perhaps this is what it feels like for light, tireless and patient to wander forever. You understand its persistence now. To travel the tunnel is not tiring. It is restful, calming, like being held. You could remain here endlessly, drifting between one mouth and the other, never needing to arrive, always suspended in the flow. But you also sense that the tunnel will not last forever. Wormholes are fragile, their throats prone to collapse. You feel it in the silence, a subtle tension, as though the corridor trembles beneath unseen pressure. You're not afraid, the fragility only deepens the beauty. The journey is meaningful not because it lasts forever, but because it exists at all. You drift further, and the glow ahead grows stronger. The tunnel is opening, its curve widening toward another sky. You do not yet see stars, but you sense them, waiting just beyond the fold. Another place, another moment calls softly to you. You're about to arrive, though you know arrival is not the purpose. The journey itself has been the gift. You take a final breath inside the tunnel, letting its silence imprint itself upon you. You will carry this stillness even when you emerge. For the traveller is changed by the path, and you too are changed by the quiet corridors of space-time. Last lines transition to chapter 13. And as the tunnel begins to open, you cannot help but wonder what vast destinations such passages could join, perhaps entire galaxies linked by invisible bridges across the dark. The tunnel begins to open, its glow widening, and for a moment you sense the vastness that lies beyond. Not a single star, not a single planet, but entire galaxies may be waiting on the far side. You drift in thought, and the question rises gently. Could wormholes act as bridges between these enormous islands of light? Galaxies are immense gatherings of stars, billions upon billions bound together by gravity. Your own galaxy, the Milky Way, stretches in a spiral of light more than 100,000 light-years across. Beyond it lies Andromeda, another spiral larger still, drifting toward you over millions of years. The space between these galaxies is vast, so wide that even light needs 2 million years to make the crossing. And yet, what if a hidden bridge laced the distance, folding it into a single step? You imagine the galaxies not as isolated islands, but as beads threaded on an invisible string. The string is made not of matter, but of wormholes, connecting their centers, their edges, their farthest arms. The web is unseen, silent, and delicate, yet it transforms the universe from scattered fragments into a woven whole. What once seemed impossibly far may in truth be a neighbor connected by a fold in space-time. Close your eyes and picture drifting across such a bridge. On one side, the familiar spiral of the Milky Way, its arms glowing like slow rivers of starlight. On the other, Andromeda, a grander spiral rising ahead, luminous and immense. Instead of waiting for billions of years, you step across in a breath. The gulf between galaxies collapses into intimacy. The universe feels smaller, closer, almost personal. The thought soothes you because distance often feels overwhelming. To know that there may be secret paths, even if only in theory, eases the weight of separation. Just as a mountain path can cut hours from a journey, a wormhole between galaxies could cut millennia. It is not an escape from nature, but a revelation of its hidden generosity. Scientists sometimes imagine whether such bridges could exist. The mathematics does not forbid them. If wormholes can form and remain stable, they need not be limited to small scales. They could connect entire galaxies, threading the universe with unseen corridors. Some even wonder if the cosmic web itself, the large-scale structure of galaxies connected by filaments, hints at deeper connections, patterns that reflect not only gravity but the potential for folds. You picture the universe from afar. Galaxies cluster like dewdrops on the threads, forming filaments and nodes, an immense cosmic web stretching in all directions. What if the filaments are not only arrangements of matter, but also hints of wormholes, hidden highways binding galaxy to galaxy? The thought calms you, for it suggests that the universe is not only vast, but also intimate, full of relationships you cannot yet see. Imagine again the bridge itself. You step inside, leaving the Milky Way behind. The tunnel is long but serene, its silence filled with the memory of stars. You glide forward, and then suddenly the light of another galaxy spills around you. Billions of suns shine in unison, their glow forming rivers of brightness. The journey feels less like travel and more like breathing, a natural motion carried by space-time itself. You wonder what it would mean if such passages truly existed. Humanity's dream of reaching other galaxies would no longer be confined to imagination. The night sky would no longer be a tapestry of unreachable lights. It would be a map of potential doorways, each galaxy a neighbor, each cluster part of a community spread across the cosmos. The fragility remains, of course. Wormholes are delicate, prone to collapse, demanding exotic energies. The bridges may never hold long enough for a traveler to cross, but even so the idea carries power. To think of galaxies as potentially connected changes how you feel about distance. The separation becomes less absolute, less final. The universe becomes a place of hidden intimacy rather than endless isolation. You breathe deeply, letting this perspective settle. The Andromeda galaxy no longer feels impossibly far. It feels like a friend across a hidden bridge, waiting patiently for the day you might step across. The stars above you shimmer differently now, not just as distant suns, but as possible gateways, their light perhaps already carried by unseen folds. The night sky whispers softly. Galaxies, though far apart, may be tied together in ways you cannot yet measure. The bridges remain invisible, but the thought of them changes how you rest beneath the stars. Distance feels lighter. Separation feels softer. You're not looking at an unreachable horizon, but at a network of relationships hidden within the fabric of space. You close your eyes and let the image stay with you, the Milky Way and Andromeda joined by a tunnel of space-time, two vast spirals leaning toward one another, their arms extended, connected not only by gravity, but by a hidden corridor. The dream lingers, fragile yet steady, like a lullaby carried by the stars. Last lines. Transition to chapter 14. And as the vision fades, another question rises gently. If such bridges could link galaxies, what might they mean for time itself, for the delicate thread between cause and effect? The vision of galaxies joined by hidden bridges fades softly, leaving you with a new question. If wormholes can connect not only places but also moments, what becomes of time's quiet rhythm? The thought arrives gently, not as fear but as curiosity. For time has always been your companion, flowing one way, steady and predictable. But in the folds of space-time that thread may twist. Cause and effect feel simple in daily life. You light a candle, and the flame appears. You speak a word, and the sound leaves your mouth. The cause comes first, the effect follows. It is the arrow of time, always pointing forward, always carrying you from past to present to future. Yet a wormhole, bending space and time together, whispers of another possibility. Imagine stepping into one mouth of the tunnel and emerging not only far away but before you began. What then? Could you greet yourself, a traveller arriving before the journey was made? Could you witness events that by ordinary rhythm should not yet have happened? These are not merely questions of physics but of logic, of the very weave of reality. Physicists call them paradoxes. If you go back in time, even by a moment, what happens if you change something? Could you prevent your own departure, undoing the very journey you took? It is the classic riddle. If you stepped back and altered the past, would the future unravel? The thought is playful and troubling at once, like a puzzle without a clean edge. You rest with this quietly. There is no need to rush toward an answer. Instead, you let the paradox flow around you like ripples in water. Perhaps the fabric of the universe has its own way of smoothing such contradictions, folding them into patterns you cannot yet see. Some scientists suggest that time protects itself, that events adjust to avoid contradictions. Others imagine branching paths, each change creating a new thread of reality, separate yet parallel. Close your eyes and picture time as a river. Normally it flows forward, current steady, carrying leaves downstream. A wormhole is like a side channel, looping back, returning to an earlier part of the river. If you drop a stone there, perhaps the water adjusts, carrying it in harmony, without disrupting the flow. Or perhaps a new stream forms, splitting away, each path continuing with its own story. The thought soothes you, because it reminds you that even paradox can have rhythm. The universe is not careless. Its fabric, though flexible, still seeks balance. Wormholes may twist the thread of cause and effect, but perhaps they do so gently, like a knot that holds rather than breaks. You imagine walking through such a tunnel. On one side, you step in after lighting your lantern. On the other, you emerge to see yourself about to strike the match. For a moment, both versions of you exist, the one who has already crossed and the one still preparing. The paradox is clear, yet the scene feels calm, not chaotic. You realize that the universe, in its quiet wisdom, may hold both without tearing. This vision comforts you. Cause and effect are not destroyed. They are stretched, rearranged, woven differently, but the fabric holds. Just as galaxies remain bound by gravity even when connected by wormholes, so too may time remain whole even when its arrow bends. Physicists have long debated whether wormholes could truly allow such journeys. Many believe nature forbids it, closing the passage before paradox can unfold. Others suggest that exotic matter, if it could be harnessed, might stabilize a tunnel long enough to permit travel into the past. Still others propose that quantum laws, subtle and mysterious, prevent contradictions from ever fully forming. The debate continues, gentle yet unresolved. You breathe slowly, letting the uncertainty calm you rather than disturb you. You do not need certainty tonight. It is enough to imagine the possibility, to let your mind rest in the question. What if wormholes carry not only travellers but paradoxes? What if the universe itself is strong enough to cradle them, to let contradictions rest without breaking? The night sky above remains steady. The stars glow as they always have, their light reaching you across centuries. In a way, you're already seeing the past. The starlight is delayed, carrying images of suns long gone. You are living within paradox already, gazing at moments that no longer exist, yet existing again through the light. Wormholes would only deepen this truth, making the folding explicit. You smile softly. Cause and effect, past and future, may not be as rigid as they seem. They may be threads in a larger weave, crossing, looping, sometimes bending back on themselves. And still the pattern holds. The universe remains whole even when its arrow curves. You picture yourself resting within that weave. Each breath is a cause, each heartbeat an effect, yet both are also part of a greater rhythm. The paradox no longer troubles you. It feels like a lullaby, reminding you that time itself is gentle, willing to bend, willing to carry mysteries without shattering. The tunnel in your mind grows quiet. You no longer rush to see whether it leads to past or future. Instead, you rest in the possibility that it holds both. Wormholes, fragile and strange, are not just bridges of distance but bridges of meaning, connecting cause and effect in ways you may never fully understand. Last lines transition to chapter 15. And as you rest in this thought, you picture not the paradox itself, but the quiet rooms where thinkers gather to debate it, their voices hushed, their wonder as patient as your own. The paradoxes of time still linger softly in your thoughts. They feel less like problems and more like gentle puzzles resting quietly without answers. And as you lie beneath the stars, you imagine the people who have devoted their lives to these questions. Thinkers, dreamers, scientists, all gathered in quiet rooms, speaking in low tones, their voices carrying both certainty and doubt. These debates are not loud. They are not filled with shouting or anger. They are calm, deliberate, like ripples spreading outward from a stone placed gently in water. One physicist stands at a chalkboard, tracing symbols across the dark surface. Another leans back in a chair, eyes distant, imagining the curves those symbols describe. A third walks slowly, hands behind the back, listening more than speaking. Together they weave a tapestry of thought, fragile but persistent. Some argue that wormholes could exist, not only in equations but in reality. They point to Einstein's mathematics, to the solutions that permit bridges across space-time. They remind the room that general relativity, so successful at describing stars and galaxies, does not forbid these tunnels. If the mathematics allows them, perhaps the universe does too. Others shake their heads gently. They see fragility, instability, impossibility. A wormhole may form, yes, but it would collapse too quickly for anything to cross. Exotic matter, required to hold the throat open, may be nothing more than an idea without substance. And even if such matter exists, could it ever be gathered in the quantities required? Their doubts settle heavily, like clouds before rain. The debates continue, not to erase wonder, but to refine it. Each argument is a step deeper into the mystery, a way of sharpening the question. No one leaves the room with final answers, yet all leave with something more valuable, a renewed sense of awe at the universe's complexity. You imagine sitting among them, the chalk dust in the air, the quiet scratching of symbols against slate. At first, the mathematics feels daunting, lines of numbers and curves without meaning. But slowly, through patience, you begin to see the shapes emerge. They are not cold abstractions, but stories. Each equation is a sentence describing the way the universe might fold, the way tunnels could appear, the way time itself could twist. The thinkers lean into these stories, some convinced, some cautious. Their debates are not battles but dances, one mind turning, another responding, each step flowing into the next. They are bound together not by agreement but by shared curiosity. You breathe slowly, realizing how human this is. To sit together, to wonder, to disagree gently, and still to remain united by the desire to know. Wormholes, whether real or not, create community. They give thinkers a common horizon to face, and even when their paths diverge. In one corner of your imagination you see a group discussing stability. They wonder aloud if quantum effects could help. Perhaps, at scales too small to measure, fluctuations in energy might provide the support needed to keep a tunnel open. Another group considers rotation. Could spinning black holes give rise to bridges? The room fills with possibilities, each one a thread woven into the tapestry. Yet always the silence returns. No proof, no certainty, only whispers in equations, and perhaps that is enough. For science is not only about answers, it is also about the courage to rest in questions, to dwell in uncertainty without fear. You imagine leaving the room at the end of the day. The chalkboards remain covered in symbols, the papers remain filled with calculations. Nothing has been proven, yet everything feels alive. For the thinkers know that wonder is as valuable as discovery, that curiosity itself is a form of knowledge. The debates do not end here. They continue across decades, across generations. Each new thinker adds a voice, a perspective, a calculation. Some grow excited at the possibilities. Others remain cautious, yet all in their own way honour the mystery. You rest in this vision. The quiet debates remind you that not every answer must be found immediately. Sometimes the beauty lies in the discussion itself, in the gentle clash of ideas that sparks new light. Wormholes, whether real or imaginary, give rise to these conversations. They are bridges not only across space but across minds. The night above you reflects this truth. Stars do not shine alone. They cluster, they form galaxies, they move in harmony. The thinkers mirror this pattern. Alone, each is a light. Together, they form constellations of thought guiding those who come after. You breathe deeply, and the image calms you. The debates are not urgent. They are patient, unfolding slowly like the orbits of planets. The questions may last centuries, but the rhythm is steady, and the wonder never fades. Perhaps wormholes will never be proven. Perhaps they exist only in equations. Yet even so, they have already changed the world. For they have given humanity a reason to sit together, to argue gently, to imagine boldly. That too is a kind of truth, a kind of bridge. You let the thoughts settle like dust in the air, soft and weightless. The room of thinkers grows quiet. The chalkboards remain full. The mystery lingers, unsolved but cherished. And in that silence you find rest. Last lines, transition to chapter 16. And as you drift in this vision, you begin to sense that beyond the debates lies something deeper, the hidden symmetry of the universe itself waiting quietly to be felt. The quiet debates fade from your mind, leaving you with a softer thought. Beyond arguments and equations, beyond doubts and convictions, there is something deeper. The symmetry of the universe. You sense it as you breathe, as you gaze upward, as you listen to the rhythm of the night. Nature does not move randomly. It repeats, reflects, balances. Beneath the vastness lies hidden order, a quiet harmony that holds everything together. You begin small. Consider the atom, the tiniest building block of matter. Within it, electrons circle the nucleus, bound by invisible forces. Their orbits echo the planet's circling stars, a miniature version of the cosmic dance. The scales are unimaginably different, yet the pattern is familiar. Symmetry ties the smallest to the largest, a reflection written into the very structure of reality. Look outward again. Galaxies spin in spirals, arms unfolding like seashells, like whirlpools, like the swirls of smoke from a candle. This spiral pattern appears in countless forms, the curl of a fern, the swirl of a storm, the curve of a wave. The universe favours certain shapes, repeating them across scales, as if to remind you that everything belongs to the same design. Wormholes, though fragile and unproven, may also be part of this hidden order. Their very existence in the equations of relativity suggests balance. Space-time curves around matter, but under certain conditions it may fold into bridges. These folds are not forbidden. They are allowed, perhaps even required by the rules of symmetry. Where there is curvature, there may also be connection. You breathe slowly, letting this idea cradle you. Symmetry soothes the mind because it reminds you that nothing is wasted, nothing is separate. The patterns you see in nature are not accidents. They are threads in a fabric that stretches across all scales. Wormholes may be one more expression of that fabric, a mirror of the connections already present in galaxies, in atoms, in life itself. Imagine space-time as a great tapestry woven with repeating designs. Some of those designs you recognize, spirals, orbits, waves. Others are hidden, too subtle for your senses. A wormhole would be one of those hidden motifs, a fold that mirrors other folds, a connection that reflects the deeper symmetry of existence. Close your eyes and picture two regions of space, distant and unconnected. At first, they seem separate, strangers to one another. But then, a tunnel appears, joining them. The symmetry is restored, separation balanced by connection, distance balanced by closeness. The wormhole does not erase space, it balances it, reminding you that the universe always seeks harmony. You find comfort in this. Life too often feels scattered, events unfolding without order. Yet when you look more closely, patterns appear. A chance meeting leads to a turning point. A memory returns at the right time. A path unfolds just as you need it. Symmetry does not always reveal itself immediately, but it is present, waiting quietly beneath the surface. The stars above seem to reflect this truth. Each one burns alone, yet together they form constellations, galaxies, clusters. Their arrangement may seem random, but deeper order holds them. Gravity shapes their positions, symmetry governs their motions, and the universe balances their energy. You're not looking at chaos, but at harmony too vast to measure. Wormholes, if they exist, would add another layer to this harmony. They would reveal that the universe not only expands outward but also folds inward, balancing distance with connection. They would show that the cosmos is not only wide but also intimate, capable of bringing faraway places close together. You imagine yourself walking through a forest at dawn. At first, the trees seem scattered, each trunk standing alone. But then you notice the symmetry, the way branches mirror one another, the way leaves unfurl in patterns, the way sunlight filters evenly through gaps. The forest is not random. It is ordered, balanced, harmonious. The universe is the same. Wormholes are part of that hidden forest, unseen but woven into the larger pattern. The thought calms you deeply. It reassures you that even in uncertainty, balance exists. Even in fragility, order remains. Wormholes may collapse, debates may remain unresolved, but the deeper symmetry persists, holding the universe in harmony. You breathe again slowly, feeling that harmony in your own body. Your heart beats in rhythm, your breath flows in cycles, your body balances itself endlessly. You're not separate from the universe's symmetry. You're part of it, shaped by it, reflecting it. Wormholes, real or imagined, are not outside of you. They are expressions of the same balance that guides your breath and your steps. Perhaps this is why the thought of them feels soothing. They remind you of connection, of harmony, of patterns that tie everything together. Even if no traveller ever crosses one, their presence in thought reflects the symmetry that defines the cosmos. The night grows deeper, but the stars continue their silent glow. You sense the hidden order between them, threads unseen yet steady. Wormholes may be among those threads, reminders that the universe holds more harmony than your eyes can capture. You let the thought cradle you as you drift. Symmetry is not loud. It does not demand attention. It waits quietly like a lullaby sung beneath the surface of the world. Wormholes, fragile and uncertain, may be verses of that lullaby, balancing separation with connection, distance with closeness, fragility with wonder. Last lines transition to the chapter 17, and as you rest in this harmony, you begin to wonder if the smallest scales, the strange world of quantum particles, might already hold echoes of these same hidden shortcuts. You rest in the thought of symmetry, the universe repeating its patterns across scales. Spirals in galaxies mirror spirals in shells, orbits of planets echo the motions of electrons. And as you breathe quietly beneath the night, you realize the symmetry may extend even deeper, to the smallest of things. In the quantum world, the realm of particles too small to see, shortcuts already exist. This is the world of quantum tunneling. Imagine a tiny particle smaller than imagination itself, approaching a barrier. By ordinary logic, it should stop. A wall is a wall. A barrier cannot be crossed without enough energy. Yet in the quantum world, rules soften. Sometimes the particle appears on the other side as though it slipped through without ever breaking the wall. It tunnels not by force but by probability, by the strange openness of reality at its smallest scales. Close your eyes and picture it. A grain of light, a single electron, drifts toward an invisible wall. For a moment it hesitates, as though considering its options. Then, without pushing, without breaking, it is gone, only to appear again beyond the wall, free. The shortcut is so effortless, impossible by classical rules, yet perfectly natural in the quantum realm. This is tunneling. It happens all around you, in stars burning their fuel, in the chemistry of life, in the electronics of your world. Without it, the sun could not shine as it does. Without it, many processes within your body would not unfold. Quantum tunneling is not an exception. It is part of the rhythm of nature, a hidden path through barriers once thought absolute. And so you wonder, could wormholes be the cosmic echo of this microscopic truth? Just as particles slip through walls, perhaps galaxies, stars, or even our travellers might slip through folded space-time. The smallest scale whispers to the largest, patterns repeating in harmony. What is tunneling for a particle may be a wormhole for a universe. The thought soothes you, for it suggests that shortcuts are not only dreams, they already exist, written into the smallest fabric of reality. You need not wait for proof of wormholes to know that nature allows surprising passages. The quantum world shows it already. Barriers are not always final, walls are not always closed. You breathe slowly, letting the metaphor deepen. Life itself mirrors tunneling. How often do you face walls, challenges that seem insurmountable, barriers that seem unbreakable, only to find yourself somehow on the other side? The path may not be clear, the method may be mysterious, yet you arrive. Like particles, you tunnel, not by force but by persistence, by the quiet openness of possibility. Scientists study quantum tunneling with fascination. They know it is not magic but mathematics, not chaos but probability. A particle has a chance of slipping through, and given enough time, enough opportunities, it does. The certainty of barriers fades, replaced by the gentleness of chance. And perhaps space-time itself in its vastness behaves the same. Wormholes may not be certain, but the universe, with its endless patience, may allow them given the right conditions. You imagine lying at the threshold of a wormhole, not as a grand explorer, but as a quiet observer. The tunnel before you is fragile, flickering. Perhaps, like quantum tunneling, it allows only the smallest things, light particles, to cross. Perhaps, in time, greater journeys may be possible. The scales differ, but the pattern is the same. A hidden road through what seems impassable. The symmetry comforts you. From the smallest to the largest, the universe reflects itself. Particles tunneling through barriers mirror galaxies potentially connected by wormholes. The echo is soft but undeniable, a rhythm that ties together the scales of existence. Close your eyes again and picture the quantum world. It is not silent but buzzing, alive with probabilities, particles appearing and disappearing, tunneling and returning. Then widen your view, picture the cosmic world. Galaxies drifting, black holes bending space, wormholes perhaps flickering into existence. The scales are different, but the song is the same. The universe hums with passages, with openings, with possibilities. You rest in this thought, breathing slowly. The barriers in life feel lighter now. If even particles so small and fragile can find their way through walls, then perhaps nothing is truly absolute. Wormholes may be fragile, paradoxical, unproven, yet their echo already exists, written in the quiet language of quantum mechanics. The night sky glows above you, stars shimmering softly. Each star burns by processes that rely on tunneling, particles slipping through barriers to release their light. Without quantum tunneling, the universe would be dark. The very glow you see is proof that shortcuts are part of nature's design. And so wormholes, imagined tonight, no longer feel impossible. They feel like reflections, grander expressions of a truth already present. The smallest whispers have already sung the song. The cosmos may only be repeating it on a larger stage. You let this realization cradle you. The walls in your life, the distances in the cosmos, the barriers of the end of space and time, none are final. There may always be hidden passages, if only you have the patience to wait, the openness to see, the trust to move forward. Last lines to a transition to chapter 18. And as you drift with this thought, you begin to imagine the universe itself laced with these hidden passages, a vast network of invisible roads stretching quietly between the stars. The thought of quantum echoes lingers softly in your mind. Tiny particles slip through barriers, and galaxies may one day be joined by their own hidden passages. You lie still and your imagination widens, carrying you into a new vision. What if the universe itself is already laced with wormholes? Not one or two, but a network, vast and quiet, stretching invisibly between stars. The image comes slowly, like mist rising from the ground. At first, the night sky looks as it always has, scattered points of light across a dark canvas. But then, in your mind, you begin to see the spaces between them change. Threads of silver light appear, connecting star to star, galaxy to galaxy, forming a delicate web. The stars no longer float alone. They are linked by roads unseen, a hidden map woven into the fabric of space. This network feels alive, like veins in a body, carrying energy and possibility. Just as blood flows unseen through you, Connecting distant parts into one living whole, so too might wormholes flow through the universe, binding its scattered pieces into intimacy. The cosmos becomes less a wilderness of separation and more a body, alive with circulation. You breathe slowly, imagining yourself drifting along one of these roads. You step into a tunnel near Earth, and in a breath you emerge beside another star, its light shining steady and warm. Another step carries you across to a distant cluster, galaxies spiraling in grandeur. Each tunnel is a path, each connection a reminder that distance may be softer than it appears. Scientists have wondered about this possibility. Could wormholes, if they exist, be common? Could they form naturally, woven into the fabric of space-time by its own fluctuations? Some suggest that tiny wormholes might arise at quantum scales, hidden in the foam of space-time. If so, perhaps larger ones could exist too, scattered across the universe like secret bridges. For now, the telescopes reveal no such roads, but the thought remains, a whisper in the dark. The image of a cosmic web comforts you. The distances between galaxies often feel overwhelming, vast to the point of emptiness. But if wormholes connect them, then the universe is not only wide but also intimate. What looks like isolation is actually relationship. What looks like distance is only a different kind of closeness. Close your eyes and picture the map more vividly. Lines of light connect star to star, weaving constellations into patterns more intricate than any myth. The Milky Way is not a spiral drifting alone, but a hub in a network, its arms extended like bridges into the dark. Andromeda is not a stranger across 2 million light-years, but a neighbour, connected by hidden paths. You float through this map weightless, following the roads with ease, each step carrying you farther into wonder. The thought soothes you. Roads, after all, bring comfort. They are signs of connection, promises that others can be reached, reminders that no place is truly alone. Even in your own life, roads bring reassurance. Paths through forests, trails across fields, streets joining home to home. The universe too may hold such roads, hidden not by neglect but by design. You breathe again, deeper now, letting the image settle. The network feels delicate, almost fragile, yet steady. Each thread is invisible to your eyes, yet you trust it, just as you trust the circulation of your own body, unseen but vital. The universe hums with connection. You can feel it, even if you cannot prove it. The scientists may search for signs, unusual lensing of starlight, strange echoes of radiation, anomalies in cosmic maps. They may find nothing, or they may one day glimpse a hint. But tonight you do not need evidence. You need only the comfort of the idea that the universe is laced with roads of possibility, that the stars above you are not far but near in ways you cannot yet see. You rest in this vision. The night sky is no longer a scattered array of lights. It is a network, a web, a body alive with circulation. Each star whispers to another, each galaxy holds hands with its neighbours. You're not lying beneath an empty void, but within a system of connection, delicate and vast, hidden yet steady. Perhaps this is why wormholes linger in thought even without proof. They answer a deep human need, the need to know that separation is not final, that distance is not absolute, that connection is always possible. They remind you that even in the grandest scales, the universe is intimate, a family of stars joined by hidden threads. You close your eyes once more and drift across the map. The roads stretch in every direction, glowing faintly, endless yet reachable. You follow them not with urgency, but with trust, moving gently, slowly, without effort. Each road carries you into another sky, another galaxy, another mystery. And the more you travel, the more you realize that you are not only exploring the universe, you are becoming part of its web, one thread among countless others. The image holds you tenderly. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are woven into its network, carried by its roads, sustained by its circulation. Wormholes, whether real or not, remind you of this truth. The universe is not emptiness, it is connection. Last lines, transition to chapter 19, and as you drift along these invisible roads, you begin to wonder if such fragile threads can truly last, or if the network itself trembles, always at risk of unraveling. The vision of the cosmic network lingers, glowing softly in your mind like threads of light stretched between stars. Yet even as you rest within it, a gentle caution begins to rise. Every bridge carries strain. Every structure, no matter how delicate, must bear its own weight. Wormholes are no different. They are fragile by nature, trembling at the edge of collapse. You breathe slowly, accepting this thought. Instability does not diminish their beauty. It simply reminds you that the universe, even in its generosity, sets boundaries. A wormhole may open for a moment, but the same curves of space-time that allow it also press inward, eager to close the passage. The fabric resists being bent too far too long. Imagine holding a bubble in your hands. Its surface shimmers with colours delicate and perfect. Yet you know with the faintest touch it will burst. Wormholes are like this, shimmering possibilities fragile by design. They exist at the edge of mathematics, their beauty undeniable, their permanence uncertain. Scientists speak carefully of this fragility. The equations of general relativity allow wormholes, but without something to counterbalance the pressure of space-time, they collapse too quickly. Exotic matter with its strange negative energy might hold them open. But such matter remains theoretical, seen only in the faintest hints of quantum effects. Without it, the tunnel pinches shut, its throat closing before light, let alone a traveller, can pass through. You close your eyes and picture the collapse. The tunnel narrows, its glow dimming, its walls folding inward. The path that once promised connection vanishes, replaced by silence. No explosion, no violence, only the return of balance, the universe smoothing itself as it always does. The dream of passage fades like mist in morning light. This instability is not failure, it is nature's rhythm. Just as stars burn out, just as flowers fade, wormholes too are subject to impermanence. Their fragility makes them beautiful, reminders that even the grandest possibilities exist only briefly. You cannot demand eternity from them. You can only cherish their momentary presence in thought. The night sky above seems steadier as you reflect on this. Stars shine for millions of years. Galaxies drift for billions. Wormholes, if they exist, may last only moments, yet each scale has its own rhythm, its own lifespan. Stability and instability are simply two sides of the same balance, woven together in the universe's fabric. You imagine yourself standing near the mouth of a wormhole as it begins to collapse. At first, the tunnel feels wide, inviting, but slowly the edges pull inward, like curtains closing. The passage grows narrower, the glow dimmer. You know you cannot cross in time. Instead, you watch quietly as the tunnel fades. There is sadness, but also peace. You have seen the possibility, and that is enough. Some scientists whisper of solutions. Could advanced civilizations, if they exist, stabilize wormholes? Could technology hold the tunnel open long enough for travel? Perhaps, yet even these whispers carry caution. The energy required may be unimaginable. The risks may outweigh the reward. The universe does not give away its deepest passages freely. You rest with this caution. Instability is not an obstacle but a teacher. It reminds you to move gently, to respect the fragility of dreams. Wormholes, like life itself, may not last forever. But while they exist, they open horizons, expanding the mind, stretching imagination beyond familiar boundaries. The metaphor deepens. You think of fragile moments in your own life, a conversation that changed you, a chance encounter, a fleeting glimpse of beauty. They did not last. Yet their impermanence did not make them meaningless. It made them precious. Wormholes may be the cosmos's way of reminding you that even short-lived wonders hold immense value. You breathe again, slower now, feeling comfort in the fragility. Permanence is not the only measure of worth. Even a collapsing tunnel can inspire awe. Even a vanishing passage can leave behind wonder. The scientists will continue to explore their debates, weaving through questions of stability, energy, and collapse. They may never find a way to hold a wormhole open, but in their persistence they honor the mystery. And in your imagination, you too honor it, resting gently in the possibility that even fragile bridges can exist, if only for a moment. The night deepens. The stars shine with patient steadiness, their lifespans far beyond your own. Yet you find peace knowing that the universe also allows for things that do not last. Wormholes among them, delicate and brief. Fragility and permanence dance together, balancing one another, reminding you that both are part of the same fabric. You close your eyes and picture the network again, threads stretching between stars. This time some threads shimmer and fade, collapsing back into the dark. The map changes, roads vanishing as quickly as they appear, and yet the web remains beautiful, not because it is eternal, but because it is alive, shifting, fragile and real. Last lines transition to chapter 20, and as you drift deeper into rest, you begin to wonder what new eyes might one day glimpse these fleeting passages, whether future explorers could find them, even for a breath, and see the universe differently. The gentle warnings of instability still echo in your thoughts, yet another feeling begins to rise. Even if wormholes collapse too quickly now, even if they remain only whispers in mathematics, the dream of exploring them may not fade. Human curiosity is patient. It passes quietly from one generation to the next, waiting for eyes brave enough to search the skies again. You imagine future explorers. They do not wear armor or carry weapons. They are not conquerors of land or sea. They are listeners, watchers, dreamers. Their ships drift not across oceans but across space-time, instruments pointed toward the faintest signals, eyes trained on the smallest anomalies. They are seekers of bridges, hunting for the brief flicker of a tunnel before it closes. Perhaps their tools are telescopes beyond your imagination, able to detect distortions of light too subtle for today's eyes. Perhaps they carry sensors that read the quiet tremors of space-time, vibrations that hint at folds opening and closing. Their search is patient, like waiting for a rare bird to appear in the forest, or for a comet to pass once in 1,000 years. You close your eyes and picture one of them. A traveller stands at the window of a vessel orbiting far from Earth. Beyond is only darkness and stars, yet their eyes do not see emptiness. They see possibility. They wait for the shimmer, the curve, the telltale distortion that whispers, "Here for a moment the fabric bends. Here for a breath a tunnel exists." The thought calms you. It reminds you that exploration is not about conquering distance, but about honouring wonder. The explorers of the future may not need to step through wormholes themselves. To witness one, even briefly, would be enough. To confirm that the universe holds such passages would be a discovery greater than any map, any treasure. You think of the explorers of the past, the sailors who once followed stars across oceans, guided by curiosity more than certainty. Many never knew what lay beyond the horizon, yet they sailed anyway. Their courage brought new maps, new knowledge, new understanding of the world. Future explorers will be the same. Their ocean is space-time, their stars are wormholes, their horizon is the hidden fold of the universe. Science itself is a form of exploration. Each experiment is a journey, each equation a compass. The explorers of the future may not only look outward with telescopes, but inward with mathematics, following the curves of equations to find where tunnels might appear. Their voyages will be through thought as much as through space. You breathe slowly, letting the vision steady you. The explorers are not in a hurry. They know that discovery is patient, that the universe reveals itself only in its own time. They wait, quietly, gently, listening for the whispers of wormholes like monks listening for distant bells. Their patience itself is part of the journey. Perhaps one day, an explorer will see it, a sudden distortion in starlight, a glimmer in the void. They will mark it, record it, and watch as it fades. The passage may close before they can enter, but the knowledge will remain. Wormholes are real. The dream will move from speculation to evidence, from poetry to fact. Humanity will see the universe differently. Even if that day never comes, the pursuit itself carries meaning. Exploration is not only about reaching destinations, but about opening imagination. The very act of searching shapes the way people see the cosmos. It reminds you that the universe is not closed, not finished. It is alive with mystery, with possibilities waiting quietly in the dark. You rest in this thought. The explorers of the future may be your descendants, or they may be minds born on other worlds, under other suns. Whoever they are, they will carry the same flame of curiosity that burns in you now. The desire to know is as much a part of humanity as breath. Wormholes, whether proven or not, will always call to that desire. The night sky above feels different when you picture it through their eyes. No longer scattered stars, but potential gateways. No longer silence, but possibility. You lie still, and for a moment you share their vision. You too see the shimmer, the hidden fold, the bridge that waits to be found. Explorers are never truly alone. Even when they sail into darkness, they carry with them the hopes of those who dream but cannot go. You realize that in imagining wormholes tonight, you are part of their journey. Your wonder joins theirs, another thread woven into the long tapestry of curiosity. You breathe deeply. The explorers will come, if not tomorrow, then someday. They will look with new eyes, they will listen with finer instruments, and they will find what waits to be found. The universe is patient, so too is wonder. The thought soothes you as you drift. The dream of discovery is never wasted. Even if wormholes remain fragile, fleeting, or unreachable, they have already changed the way humanity sees the cosmos. They have already turned the sky into a map of possibilities, and that is enough. Last lines, transition to chapter 21. And as you rest with this vision, another question rises. If explorers do find these hidden corridors, what might crossing them do to the fragile bodies and minds that dare to step inside? You imagine the explorers of the future, their eyes turned toward wormholes, their ships drifting patiently in the silence of space. Yet as the vision deepens, another thought begins to stir. If one day a traveller steps into such a tunnel, what will become of their body, fragile and finite, shaped for Earth's gentle gravity and air? The human form is delicate. Your bones bear weight only within certain limits. Your lungs breathe only within the comfort of atmosphere. Your heart beats in rhythm with the pull of gravity. Even here, safe on Earth, you feel the body's vulnerability, the way it tires, the way it heals, the way it depends on balance. To imagine carrying such a body into the depths of a wormhole is to imagine carrying a candle into the wind. Scientists wonder too. The tunnel's walls are space-time itself, bending and curving. Gravity may not flow evenly. The body could be stretched, pulled, twisted by forces beyond comprehension. The term is tidal force, the stretching that comes when gravity pulls harder on one part of you than another. Near black holes, this stretching is extreme, tearing objects into threads. Would wormholes carry the same danger? Perhaps. You close your eyes and picture the sensation. At first, you float weightless, cradled by the tunnel's silence. Then you feel a gentle tug, your feet pulled slightly more than your head. It is not painful, only strange, as though your body is being reminded of its fragility. You drift onward, trusting the tunnel to hold you, even as it tests your limits. The fragility does not frighten you. Instead, it deepens the wonder. To step into a wormhole would be an act of courage, not because of distance, but because of delicacy. You would carry not armor, but vulnerability. You would bring your breath, your heartbeat, your finite body into an infinite corridor. The contrast itself would be beautiful, the smallest life moving through the largest passage. Perhaps future explorers will build protections. Their ships may shield them from tidal forces, surrounding their bodies with fields that smooth the pull of gravity. Or perhaps they will learn to select only the gentlest wormholes, those stable enough to cradle rather than crush. The body may be fragile, but human ingenuity has always been a way of softening the universe's harshness. Still, the thought remains. Fragility is not weakness. It is what makes the journey meaningful. A stone passing through a wormhole would not feel awe. A machine might record data, but not wonder. Only a fragile traveller, aware of risk, aware of their limits, could experience the beauty fully. It is the very vulnerability of the body that transforms the crossing into something sacred. You breathe slowly, letting this truth settle. Your own body, lying here beneath the stars, is fragile too. Each breath is a reminder of dependence, each heartbeat a rhythm you cannot command. Yet you do not see this as failure. You see it as intimacy. Fragility binds you to the world, makes each moment precious. A traveller in a wormhole would feel the same, and fragile yet alive, carried by wonder. Imagine now the crossing. You step inside, your body weightless, your breath steady. At first you feel no strain, only calm suspension. Then subtle tugs remind you of your limits. You close your eyes, and instead of resisting, you surrender. You trust the tunnel, you trust your body, you trust the fragility itself to carry meaning. You emerge changed, not only by the destination, but by the journey through delicacy. Scientists speak of radiation, of pressures, of energies that may flood a wormhole. These too would challenge the body. Yet even here, imagination softens the thought. Protection may come not only from technology, but from adaptation. Humanity has always grown into new environments, deserts, mountains, oceans. Perhaps in time you could grow into the tunnels of space-time as well. Fragility does not prevent adaptation, it invites it. The night sky above you feels gentler as you rest in this vision. Stars do not ask you to be invincible. They shine regardless of your limits. The universe does not demand strength. It asks only wonder, only presence, only the willingness to step forward even with fragility in hand. You let the image calm you. Wormholes may test the body, but they also honor it. They remind you that being finite is not a barrier to meaning. It is the source of meaning. A fragile traveler crossing a fragile tunnel creates harmony, each reflecting the other's delicacy. Your breath deepens, you feel the fragility in your own chest, the rhythm of heart and lungs, and you realize, to imagine wormhole travel is not to escape your limits, but to carry them with dignity. Fragility itself is the traveler's gift. Last lines transition to chapter 22, and as you rest with this thought, you begin to wonder not only about bodies, but about minds, how consciousness itself might change if carried through such a passage. You have imagined the fragile traveler's body moving through a wormhole, bones and breath carried delicately across space-time. But another thought now rises, softer still. What of the mind? For the body is only half of the journey. Consciousness, your awareness, your sense of self, is the true traveler. If space and time bend, how would your thoughts bend with them? Consciousness is delicate. It depends on patterns in the brain, signals flowing across fragile cells, electrical sparks that rise and fade in silence. Even here on Earth, your mind is easily shifted. A dream changes your sense of reality. A memory reshapes the present. Time itself feels longer or shorter depending on your mood. If so much can alter awareness in daily life, what would happen if you carried it into the folds of space-time? You close your eyes and imagine stepping inside the tunnel, not as a body but as a mind. At first, your thoughts remain steady. You count your breaths, you feel your presence, you hold yourself gently, but as the corridor deepens, time itself begins to shift. Moments stretch, then compress. A single breath feels like an hour. Then suddenly, entire minutes vanish in what feels like a blink. Your mind, so used to steady rhythm, now drifts in currents unfamiliar. The strangeness does not frighten you. Instead, it feels dreamlike, as though you have entered a state between waking and sleeping. Consciousness floats, untethered from clocks, unmoored from expectation. You're aware, but awareness itself feels different. Not linear, not confined, but vast, flowing, almost infinite. Scientists too wonder about perception in altered space-time. If time runs differently on either end of a wormhole, then a traveler's consciousness may face paradox. Imagine stepping into the tunnel and experiencing hours of drifting thought, only to emerge a fraction of a second later. Or the opposite. You feel only an instant inside, yet when you return, centuries have passed. The mind, fragile and flexible, must stretch to hold such truths. You breathe slowly, allowing the metaphor to deepen. Consciousness is like a lantern casting light around itself. On Earth, the lantern's glow is steady, illuminating moments in order. But in a wormhole, the lantern flickers, its light bending, showing scenes out of sequence. You glimpse the future, then the past, then the present again. The order dissolves, yet the awareness remains. The thought soothes you because it reveals the mind's resilience. Even when stretched, even when disoriented, consciousness finds ways to adapt. Dreams prove this every night. In dreams, the mind accepts impossible sequences, shifting places and times with ease. You rarely question them until waking. Perhaps wormhole travel would be like this, not a destruction of consciousness, but a deepening of its dreamlike flexibility. Imagine drifting further inside. Your thoughts, once separately, begin to blend. Memories surface, merging with imagination. The tunnel itself becomes part of you, its silence shaping your awareness. You are no longer only a traveller. You are part of the passage, your mind expanded to fill its curves. For a moment you feel infinite, aware not only of yourself but of the universe's fabric. This vision calms you. It reminds you that consciousness is more than neurons, more than patterns. It is connection, awareness, reflection. A wormhole, if ever travelled, would not only move the body, it would move the mind into new states of being, new rhythms of thought, new ways of seeing. You smile softly at the idea. Perhaps this is why wormholes capture imagination so deeply. They are not only shortcuts across space, but shortcuts into awareness, invitations to see yourself and the universe differently. To cross one is to meditate with the cosmos, to surrender to altered perception, to embrace the dreamlike flow of consciousness. The night sky above you feels gentler as you think this. Each star is steady, yet your perception of them shifts constantly. Some seem brighter, some fainter, depending on your gaze, your mood, your thoughts. Consciousness is already pliable, already shaped by context. A wormhole would only amplify this pliability, stretching your awareness in ways that remind you of its beauty. Scientists may one day measure such effects. Perhaps they will monitor brain rhythms as explorers move through tunnels. Perhaps they will study how memory, perception, and thought bend under the weight of altered space-time. But tonight you need no instruments. You need only the comfort of imagining that your awareness is capable of more than you have yet felt. You breathe again, letting the idea cradle you. Consciousness itself may be the most resilient traveller of all. While the body strains under gravity and pressure, the mind flows like water, adjusting, reshaping, continuing. A wormhole would not destroy awareness. It would expand it, open it, remind you that perception is as mysterious as space-time itself. You rest in this thought. Your body lies still, fragile yet safe. Your mind drifts, fragile yet infinite. The corridor of consciousness is not bound by walls. It is bound only by openness, by the willingness to experience. Wormholes, real or imagined, are invitations to that openness, to the endless capacity of awareness to stretch. Last lines, transition to chapter 23. And as your thoughts grow quieter, you begin to wonder how long such awareness could last, whether even consciousness itself might dissolve if the tunnel stretched into eternity. The thought of consciousness bending inside a wormhole lingers softly. You've imagined the flicker of moments, the stretch of time, the blending of memory and dream. Yet another question now rises, patient and profound. What if the tunnel did not end? What if the traveller drifted onward, carried forever in a corridor that stretched into eternity? Eternity is not easy to grasp. On Earth you measure time by the tick of clocks, by the steady rising and setting of the sun, by the rhythm of seasons. Even your breath, even your heartbeat, marks time in steady patterns. But eternity is different. It is not the piling up of countless moments. It is the absence of counting at all, a state where moments no longer separate but blend into one endless presence. Close your eyes and picture it. You step into a wormhole expecting to cross quickly to another place. Yet the tunnel does not narrow, does not end. It stretches further and further, always curving ahead. You drift inside, weightless, breath steady. Minutes pass, or perhaps hours, or perhaps nothing measurable at all. Soon the idea of time itself fades, like mist dissolving in morning light. You are not waiting to arrive, you are simply here, drifting toward eternity. The sensation is not frightening. It is soothing, like resting in a dream that never breaks. Without clocks, without urgency, you find yourself free. The mind no longer measures, no longer divides. Consciousness becomes a pool rather than a river, wide and calm, holding everything at once. Scientists speak of such states in whispers. Near black holes, time slows dramatically. To an outside observer, a traveller falling inward appears to freeze, motion stretched across eternity. Could a wormhole offer something similar? A place where time bends so deeply that the traveller's experience feels endless? It is possible, at least in theory. And even if not, the metaphor itself carries meaning. You breathe slowly, letting your awareness expand. Eternity is not endless years. It is endless presence. It is the feeling of being held forever in a single moment, unbroken, unhurried. The wormhole imagined tonight becomes that presence. Its silence, its curves, its dark velvet corridors, all cradle you in a timeless calm. The thought soothes you, because you already taste fragments of eternity. In moments of wonder, when the sky overwhelms you with stars, time seems to pause. In moments of love, when your heart feels full, the minutes dissolve into presence. In moments of deep rest, like now, consciousness drifts beyond clocks. Eternity is already within you. The wormhole only amplifies it, offering a corridor where such timelessness may last. You imagine drifting deeper, Your breath continues, your body floats, but the sense of sequence fades. You no longer ask, what comes next? There is no next. There is only this. The tunnel does not lead to a destination. It is itself the destination. Eternity is not at the end. It is here, inside, woven into the endlessness of the journey. Perhaps this is the universe's secret gift. Wormholes may not be highways across galaxies. They may be mirrors, showing you what it feels like to rest outside of time. To drift through eternity is not to live forever in years, but to dwell forever in presence. You realize that such presence is always available, even now, as you breathe beneath the stars. The night sky reflects this truth. The starlight you see left its source millions of years ago. To you it is present. To the star it is past. To someone else it may be future. Time dissolves in the glow, and eternity reveals itself, not as duration but as depth. Wormholes, imagined or real, are part of this same revelation. They whisper that timelessness is already here. You breathe again, more slowly, letting eternity seep into your awareness. You are not rushing through the corridor. You are not waiting for arrival. You are drifting, resting, dissolving into the fabric of presence. The tunnel is not fragile now. It is infinite. It does not collapse. It continues forever, like a lullaby without end. The metaphor calms you. Life itself often feels rushed, bounded by deadlines, measured by clocks. But within you is the capacity for eternity, the ability to pause, to stretch presence, to rest in timelessness. The wormhole becomes a reminder, a symbolism of that inner space. You do not need to escape the universe to taste it. You only need to surrender. You close your eyes, and the corridor grows softer. Its curves dissolve into stillness. Its silence deepens. You're no longer even a traveller. You're awareness itself, resting without boundaries. Eternity holds you gently, not as endless time, but as endless calm. Last leans. Transition to chapter 24. And as you dissolve into this timeless drift, one final thought emerges. What gift does such a vision of wormholes and eternity leave for the dreamer who must one day wake beneath the stars? You have drifted through the corridors of imagination, carried gently across chapters like steps in a dream. You have looked at wormholes as shortcuts through distance, as bridges between galaxies, as echoes of quantum tunnels. You have felt their fragility, their instability, their demand for energies yet unseen. You have placed your fragile body inside them, stretched your awareness through their silence, and rested in eternity. And now, as the journey draws to its close, one question remains. What gift is left for the dreamer who must one day wake beneath the stars? The gift, you realize, is not certainty. Wormholes may never be found. They may remain mathematical whispers, delicate possibilities, fragile bubbles that collapse before any traveller steps through. Yet their value is not only in whether they exist. Their value lies in what they awaken in you. The sense of connection, the expansion of imagination, the reminder that the universe is larger and more intimate than it first appears. You breathe slowly, letting this realization settle. The journey was never about arriving at a destination. It was about the wandering itself, the gentle act of drifting through ideas, the comfort of resting in mystery. The wormhole is both real and not real, both physical and poetic. Its truth lies as much in the heart as in the equations. Close your eyes and recall the images: the folded sheet of paper, corners meeting across a crease, the lantern's light slipping into the tunnel, the fragile traveller floating weightless, mind bending with time. Each image is a gift, a seed planted in your imagination. Even if wormholes remain unproven, these seeds grow into wonder. They remind you to see the universe not as rigid but as pliable, not as closed but as open, not as finished but as unfolding. The stars above you glow with renewed meaning. You no longer see them only as distant suns. You see them as possible neighbours, perhaps connected by hidden roads. You no longer see the night sky as empty, and you see it as full of possibility, woven with unseen threads. The wormhole, real or not, has changed your vision. That change itself is the gift. Scientists may continue their debates. Equations will be written, chalkboards filled, experiments designed. They may never reach agreement, but they will continue patient and curious. And in their persistence there is another gift. The reminder that wonder does not end with answers. Wonder is sustained by question. To imagine wormholes is to participate in that wonder, to join the long tradition of dreamers who look upward and ask, what if? You breathe again, deeper now, as though your own body reflects this rhythm. Each inhale is a question. Each exhale is a surrender. You realize that you too are part of the symmetry, part of the fabric. Your mind folds across distances. Your thoughts slip through tunnels. Your imagination connects galaxies. You do not need to step into a wormhole to experience the connection. You carry it within you already. The fragility of wormholes mirrors the fragility of life. Neither is permanent. Both shimmer for a moment, then fade, yet their impermanence gives them meaning. To imagine wormholes is to honor the beauty of the temporary, to see value not in eternity but in presence. Just as a dream shapes your waking even when it dissolves, so too does the thought of wormholes shape your rest tonight. Perhaps this is their truest gift. Not highways through space, but pathways through thought. They guide you inward as much as outward, reminding you that the mind itself is a traveller, capable of folding across time, across memory, across imagination. The corridors you drifted through in this narration are wormholes of a different kind, bridges between the known and the unknown, between science and poetry, between wakefulness and sleep. You feel calm as this thought settles. You no longer need the wormholes to exist physically. They exist already in the gentle connection you feel to the stars, to the thinkers who ponder them, to the dreamers who will follow after you. They exist in the stillness of your breath, in the openness of your awareness, in the peace of your rest. The night grows deeper. The stars remain steady, shining as they have for billions of years. You lie beneath them, fragile yet infinite, finite yet connected. Wormholes may or may not open, eternity may or may not be reached, but the gift is already yours, the ability to rest in mystery, to find peace in imagination, to let the universe cradle you in wonder. Last lines, closing reflection. And so, as you drift towards sleep, you carry this gift gently, the reminder that even unanswered questions can bring calm, that even imagined wormholes can leave real wonder behind, and that the universe, in all its silence, whispers not only of distance but of connection.